says we're live.
Wow. But I'm not.
Again, I think it's the latency. I think it's going to be a second. There we are.
Go to your audio settings. Right here.
Uh-huh.
Go to your audio settings over here. Audio settings and just mute it.
This?
Mute it. Yeah, turn it all the way down. Nice. That should do it. Okay.
Okay.
I think. Okay, cool. Sweet. Cool.
This is such a mystery to me every time.
Yeah.
All 3 times I've ever done this.
Yes. I think we should post it, though.
Yeah.
Why don't you post it? I'm going to grab our food that got
Oh,
here.
okay.
I'm not going to bring it up yet.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well. I think we're live. Anyone who is out there, who may be out there, please send something in the chat to let me know that this is actually working. This has been a long time of not doing this, and we also moved. This is a completely different room than everywhere else I've ever done a video and whatnot. So if anyone's out there, let me know. Oh, Finn, thank you so much. Hello. Okay, sorry, probably getting I'm hearing myself as I'm talking. 1 second. Well, first of all, how are you guys? Something. Thank you, Pedro. Seems like everything's working.
Okay.
So we're in.
Sweet. Can we switch the screen
We're hacked
so I
in.
can see the chat too?
Do you want this here?
Yeah.
To
Just
watch
move
us?
OBS. No, so I can see the chat.
Okay. Whoops.
Yeah, nice.
I feel like there's a better way to see chat as well, like separately, you know? Oh, pop out.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
This is better. I just don't want to watch myself on YouTube the entire time.
Well, we need to see it so we can monitor if it's working.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I don't want it on this screen.
Cool. All right.
Hello,
did we
everyone.
Post to certain places
So
people actually know we've done it. Let's see.
And that it's actually successful.
Successful is a strong word. Cool.
Well, how's everyone doing? For those that are here, we're trying to get stuff started and double checked because, man, what a last 2-ish hours it's been to get to this point. And it was not easy and kind of funny also. Justin will tell you the story later. I think it's funny, but I don't think he does.
It's funny now. Not sure it was funny in the moment. It's funny now, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Where are you posting that?
The Fabus channel.
And then I think LinkedIn's probably a good idea, and then I don't really care where it goes outside of that.
Okay, I think that worked. I just don't know about LinkedIn, though, personally.
Do you want me to do it?
I just don't think people are checking their LinkedIn on a Saturday night.
I promise you they are.
It's not where people... I hope people don't
I
hang
don't
out
really
on
get
LinkedIn
on any social media
on a Saturday night. That's not really
Saturdays
the
or any day.
club.
Do you want me to post it?
Yeah.
If you're just completely against doing it. Oh my god.
No, I can.
Why would you not post it in the one place where people talk about professional stuff?
Well, I just don't think live streams are really a thing people look out for,
No,
like
just,
Twitter,
just
you know?
Substacks
Yeah,
and subscribe
podcast
to my
episodes.
podcast.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. How's everyone's week going? Well, weekend, I guess now. I don't know what day it is. How do I get rid of this?
I don't know. Probably spam clicking. It's not that. What about the little, I don't think there's a way to...
Aw. excited to chat with you guys and get some insight. I've loved watching. Aw, thanks, Finn. Blushing. Haven't made a video in like 6 months. What up?
New one's coming though.
What's that? Yeah, I mean, I do actually have one that Justin watched over yesterday.
Yeah.
That I recorded back in like February or something, and have just now finished editing it. So that's what pregnancy does to you, is delay everything. You're on like a constant just lag mentally. But yeah, I actually got I showed you, but I got a email.
Here, see people
Oh, that's okay. All right.
to my post I made the other day about
Justin's right. People hang out on LinkedIn on a Saturday night, I guess. I don't know what that says about our industry and where we're at in the world, but I guess I'll do that too.
If I can figure out how to share your Instagram one, I will do that, but I can't.
Well, you can just recreate it. Like the things I've taught you on Instagram stories, which I know you love doing.
Yeah, let me try to do that real quick.
For those who don't know, this is my husband, Justin, by the way.
That's my full name. Husband Justin. My last name's Justin.
Yeah. I sent you the thumbnail.
Yeah. So
and then you have the link. That's really all you need.
I'm going to save this somehow. Download.
Yeah, we'll be getting into the Q&A stuff here very, very shortly. We did get some questions from Instagram and whatnot. Again, this was such an impromptu thing, and I've just kind of been making the joke of this is to prove that we are still alive and we still go on the internet sometimes, and
barely.
We're just very busy with work, and me being pregnant, I have just been so like non-existent mentally, which I think is kind of nice. I'm not mad about that. And then you could do
link
if you want to add, and then paste. Did you copy the link?
Mm-hmm.
You did not.
No, I didn't.
Go to YouTube or whatever.
Copy.
But yeah, it's been a long time. I've missed YouTube so much. I've missed making videos. I've been on a full-time contract with Riot again for a whole year. And this is going on about month 5 of that contract right now, as an art director, which has been super fun. But yeah, that's just basically a full-time job right now, so there's really not a ton of time outside of that to sit and record and write and all that stuff without wanting to take a nap first, as you know.
As I know?
Yeah. How many naps I have to take these days.
You do take a lot of naps.
I do. And they're not short. I don't do short naps, even not being pregnant. They've got to be an hour minimum, but you don't like to nap. At all.
I mean, I wish, but I don't. No.
Yeah.
I can't. My body will not physically let me.
That sucks.
Are you covering yourself up?
Yeah, I feel like I'm.
Bring OBS up so I can at least monitor that the stream didn't like completely crash.
Sure, that's valid. Where'd you go? Right here.
Just drag it over there. Nice. Perfect.
You want this visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Sweet.
Well, does anyone have any questions off the bat, creative or not related?
Yeah, I think we'll give Audrey a couple minutes to make that LinkedIn post, and then we'll start ripping into some of these questions.
Yeah, again, it takes me a minute to get things done because I'm distracted. Justin, do you want to chat with the people?
Sure. What's up?
What a charmer.
Yeah, you know me. Yeah, kind of like Audrey said, we've been really busy. I don't really remember the last time I was like online a bunch. For anyone who doesn't know, probably everyone's here that's like fans of Audrey's YouTube, but we're both full-time freelancers. Audrey's more on the motion design side, and then I'm a freelance video editor full-time. And so we've just both been really slammed with work, which is great. Seeing as how I know a lot of people haven't been super busy. But took a little break off in late June and then the first couple weeks of July, and then I started busy again soon next week. So.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be busy.
I'm gonna be busy.
Gonna be a busy boy.
Busy bee. How's everyone else doing? I'd really rather hear about what you guys are up to.
Yeah.
Honestly, because that's
We are with each other 24/7, so we always know how
the other
each other is doing. That's right, the correct grammar, right? We know how each other is doing.
We do
are
good
doing.
now. We know. Good things we both do
Like
now.
we're art people, not literature writing people.
Yeah. If you are in here, are both mics sounding okay? Is one of us like really quiet? Because this is more my domain, but also like our setup is kind of janky. So if it doesn't sound good, let us know. I'll try to troubleshoot.
Yeah, we have a window AC unit running also.
Yeah,
because it gets hot up here.
That's just gonna have to be a deal with it kind of thing.
Yeah, deal with it.
We lost a viewer on my deal with it comment. That's good.
Yeah, we're doing so
Someone
well.
ran off. So Finn, what do you do? Are you a freelancer, designer? Are you an accountant?
Looking to get into the design industry. Those are always the most fun stories to me. Okay, LinkedIn is posted.
Excellent. Did you actually tag me?
I did.
Okay. Graphic designer. Sweet.
Hey, what up? Do you have any initial questions, Finn? Again, we have some lined up here that we'll start getting into a little bit. But if there's anything off the top of my head, actually just got my first real designer job post-college 3 months ago. Ooh, moved across country kind of on a whim. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's like
Speaking
what
our
we
language.
did. Yeah.
Speaking
Honestly,
our language.
when you have a level of preparation, it's just the best decision, honestly. New environment, new people, just knew everything.
Did you
Hello,
move?
Preston.
Did you move east to west or west to east?
We're originally from, I'm from Ohio. He's from West Virginia, but we met in Columbus, Ohio. Dated for a bit. We met at an animation studio, funny enough,
Yes.
in the biz. Dated for a bit, and then we decided to make the jump to Phoenix.
West to east. Interesting.
Ooh. So from where to where specifically? I'm very curious.
Hello, Preston. What are you doing?
Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Utah to New Hampshire.
Whoa.
Wow. I've not heard that one before. Usually
You
it's
left-
like...
You left my favorite state in the country.
Yeah,
to
Justin
move
loves
to New
Utah.
England.
That's crazy.
New Hampshire. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
actually
go with
know a designer that I'm kind of friends with that just moved from... she was actually in Denver and moved to New Hampshire, where she's originally from.
Yeah.
She's one that just had a baby, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Brett.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, very big culture and scene. I could only imagine.
Yeah.
How's the design scene out there? I'm very curious because that's something that I remember was kind of a culture shock for me personally, going from Columbus that had a very big design and like just design art community, and then Phoenix felt very just much more siloed and like you really had to seek out like those kind of people, and I only
Just
found
so
like
many
a couple. Yeah, and
I mean,
it's
you're
also
talking
massive.
millions and millions.
Different
of people.
kind of art scene though. I feel like it's more of a fine art scene than it is like design and motion.
Phoenix
and
is
stuff,
big time fine art. I mean, galleries every other.
Maybe
every
I didn't
other,
look hard enough, but
yeah, every other storefront's a fine art gallery or a studio. Or it was cool from that perspective, but it was interesting. Not a ton of work. Phoenix is in a really weird geographic location because it borders California. So you have San Diego, LA, Well, everyone goes there to work. If they're not going there, they're going to Texas.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
Phoenix was kind of in like a no man's land kind of
Yeah,
situation.
very weird in between. But that was one thing that I feel like was just a little more isolating, and also Phoenix felt just isolating in general, where like we found a few people that like we could hang with, but just with how massive of a city it was, and wasn't easy to just go like hang out and meet up with like a group of people. But again, like maybe it just didn't look hard enough. But we were there for 2 years, and then we moved here to Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
The art scene in general seems to be pretty vibrant. There's markets going on all the time, but I haven't seen as much going on in graphic design. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
Well,
that's kind of
I know of a handful of studios out of Salt Lake, in Provo, and St. George. So like I think about like here. It's bizarre because we don't work locally.
No.
Ever.
Our clients are primarily in LA, which I think that one of the benefits of us moving out west was like our clientele, I feel like
Evolved.
Expanded a bit to be more like West Coast friendly, and therefore allowed for more studios and the hours and everything to be more accommodating. And that came with like the work that we like to do too, which is typically more entertainment centric, but then like ad and advertising and all that stuff. But I know commercial stuff is kind of all over the place. Had an internship out of Boise. Oh my
Where?
God, what?
Where
That's
did you intern
crazy.
at? That's cool.
You don't hear that very often.
Where and did you like Boise?
Yeah, we've been here for 1.5 years now. I love it personally. I feel like we haven't been here all that long still.
We were in Phoenix 2 years. But by this time, while we were in Phoenix, we knew we were not going to stay in Phoenix.
Yeah, but we just stayed another year because it came up so quickly.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
But it's funny that we've now lived in our second place. We're in our second place now, and it's not even been 2 years. Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate moving. We've done it too many times.
Yeah.
We've moved 5 different times or had 5 different places in the 6 years that we've been together, period. Like, including dating and everything. Sup, chill?
Chill? Chill.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
on
what you
Boise.
thought of Boise.
And I'm really curious as to where you had your internship, especially if it was design related.
Yeah,
because I know
that's true. Because you just recently
Drake
graduated.
really?
Hey,
Nice.
no shit. Wow.
Nice. Almost got a job at Duff. Okay, so cool. So
Wow,
you pretty much
that's
talked to all the
crazy.
big studios here.
That's
neat.
awesome. Yeah, Drake Cooper's pretty
Drake
great
Cooper's
from what I
big.
hear.
Yeah, I mean Drake Cooper's really cool.
So they have a branch in Seattle too, right?
Yeah, Seattle and Boise, and then Duft is Boise specific, smaller. Duft is cool. Boise's amazing. I
love
don't
it.
see us leaving Boise.
No.
The toughest thing about Boise is the housing market.
Yeah. Adult shit.
Adult shit. Yeah, Boise's awesome. Well, that's cool.
That's really neat.
It's
What a
really
small
sweet.
world, man.
Yeah, small world.
You don't
for
hear
sure.
people having internships in Boise very often, especially for like design and stuff. But that's sick.
Yep.
For those that might be like trickling in and stuff, we're gonna get into some Q&A stuff here in a little bit. We got some questions throughout the week that I think are really good, and we'll probably end up just rambling a lot. But throughout any of it, feel free to just drop questions in. We've got the chat up and whatnot. But
yeah, I'm guessing it'll primarily be us rambling.
Yeah, we do that. We're good at that.
We share an office, so that's all we do.
Yeah.
Against
I've heard of
against
that.
the female owned.
I don't know.
Is that against
Were you thinking of BN?
here? Against us here.
Oh yeah, maybe. I think you might have talked about them before.
It's funny. So when we first moved here, I was like, okay, cool, time to get involved in the local scene. And then all of our clients, like Audrey said, are all out west, and I have a handful in New York and Texas, and you just kind of lose that a little bit.
Yeah.
Make the connects, but then like the jobs just can't line up, it feels like, because you're just, if you're booked, you know.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting, it's a small market, so I would also say that everyone who like knows everyone here probably kind of stays tight knit. That's kind of the way Columbus was.
Yeah. Very true.
And then I don't know about the scene in Phoenix because I was a full-time in-house in
Oh
Phoenix.
yeah. He was at Carvana before Freelance, and then I roped him into the dark side of freelancing, and
Corporate.
he's been killing it. Yeah. Yeah, we've had a mix of experiences in our time of professionalism.
Big time.
I never did agency life,
Yeah.
but I did have small studio and then in-house stuff, which I freaking
up, Bill?
hated. Ryan.
What's up, Billiam?
This is my little brother, you guys.
What if it wasn't? Wouldn't that be embarrassing?
No, I know that
Someone
LA
else
Beast
yeah.
cheetah profile picture that he uses on everything. Hi, Ryan. Say hi to my little brother. What a supportive little bro.
Everyone else is going to think I just called him Bill.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yeah. He calls him Bill for brother-in-law. If you didn't get that.
No one did.
No,
I don't know why anyone
no,
would just
probably
immediately
not.
get it.
What were we talking about?
Don't remember.
Well, Ryan did have a question that we can start off with, which is, how's the Rockmeister doing? Which our dog...
Can we explain who Rockmeister
Yeah,
is?
Rockmeister is our dog, Rocky. Ooh, awesome, Finn. We will get to your question right after we talk about Rockmeister. Sorry, the timing.
His name is Rocky. But
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, he's not like very
Yeah, it's not his real
Scottish
name. No.
or like Irish.
No, we adopted a dog back in COVID times. Well, we fostered him for a long ass time, and then we ended up adopting him because we wanted to move to Phoenix, and they were like, you can't take him out of state unless you adopt him. So we paid $250 whole USD for this dog, and he's been with us. Yeah, he's been with us ever since. But yeah, he's doing great. He had a whole... I mean, ever since we've had him, he's had some wild health scares of varying degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a boxer terrier mix, and they named him Rocky Balboa, and we just kept it.
Yeah.
You know, a little boxer. And it's very fitting, I think, for him, but
Yeah, he's
very, very
perfect
derpy. I think I talked about it in that last video that I made back in like January, February. It was like an update video, and a whole section of it was about Rocky, and just like he got valley fever in Phoenix, which most people won't know about it because it's such a like centralized thing that can happen like in Phoenix in the Southwest.
Yeah.
It's a fungal infection that it just like it almost killed him, but he had to be on some crazy meds and whatever.
Yep.
He tested negative for it twice, however many months later. So we're like, okay, cool, we're in the clear.
Yep.
But come to find out, if we were not in the clear, it was still there, and it turned into a tumor that latched onto his spine, which is very intense. And his back legs completely gave out. Couldn't walk one day. All of a sudden, it was very jarring and terrifying. And then however many, it was like what, from October to, or like September to...
Yeah, end of August is when we started figuring it out.
Yeah.
He got his surgery in...
It was like within a week of bringing him into the ER that he had to have a whole surgery and recovery.
Crazy surgery. They essentially shaved down this tumor around his spine.
At least 13 different medications at one time, too. It was bizarre.
For about 6 weeks.
It was so insane.
And then he, in my opinion, just in the last 2 or 3 weeks is like... I feel like he's back.
Yeah.
So it's been almost a year.
Which he's been like the most energetic dog we've ever like encountered. Just ever. This is our first dog ever too. We've had him for 5 years now, but so energetic, very just like wants to play all the time, very clingy. And yeah, so it was such a roller coaster of emotions. We thought he wasn't going to make it by Christmas, but he's been through physical therapy and just like all the things that any human going through recovery. It's crazy. Like he's been through a lot, is like to say the least, but yeah, anywho, he's doing great. All that to say, he is like crushing everything right now. He's actually like kind of annoying, like back to being annoying again. Where like he's like hard to keep up with, and he wants to play all the time. And
it was sad. It was crazy. It was
yeah. He was like our first baby, you know? And now we're having a real one, and he's going to have to learn to share a bit of that attention. But yeah, he's been through everything with us since we started dating and then being engaged, moving across the country, being married, and now we're having our first kid together. And so, like, for him to be through all of that with us is pretty crazy. Legacy dog, you know?
Pretty
but yeah,
insane.
Rockmeister is doing pretty well.
He's doing great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely believe, knock on wood, this is the best he's been since before.
I feel like every time we say, like, this is the best he's ever been, he's doing so well, he's recovering, something else happens. Like, that's kind of been his MO, you know, but
yeah,
man,
never fails. He will.
Yeah, something else will happen.
Yeah.
Anywho, into some creative / freelance / industry questions. Finn, you said, I have a question for you, Audrey. You mentioned you were working in an art director position. Do you have designers under you? And if you do, what sort of things do you teach them? Great question. So for some context, this is my second time around doing a long-term contract with Riot Games, which is like ultimate dream client. Always wanted to work in gaming. So crazy. Specifically within team fight tactics. And this time around, I am in the art director position. I don't have any internal designers necessarily under me. We do have a manager, and there's other, like, 2 to 3 other art directors that were also hired on as contractors, where we all have a manager together, but he's also an art director. And we have our own specific campaigns that we're kind of just like the focal point on for both the campaign side and then when esports season starts happening too.
I mean, you're primarily, you are kind of art directing from a high level sense where you're working with external vendors. Vendors are kind of like the designers / other art directors that I'm like directing, but yeah, it's an external kind of relationship. It's very bizarre. Justin's mom is calling. Maybe she's watching the stream and she wants to have a live conversation with the chat. Hey, Mom, we're currently live streaming.
She's just stealing the spotlight.
Hi,
hey,
buddy.
Leo. It's our nephew.
Hi, buddy.
It's our nephew that wants to be on the live stream.
There's Aunt Dottie. Love you too, buddy. Bye. I have to go.
Bye-bye.
Love you, buddy.
Oh, I gave you a kiss, babe.
Oh, it's okay. See ya. Love you too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was wildly embarrassing, huh? Anyways,
family comes first.
I thought she was calling me because they saw we were live streaming, to be funny.
That would have been really funny. They had us up on the TV or something.
Like a Matrix kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be funny. No.
Anyways.
But yeah, in terms of like designers or whatever that like I'm directing, it's really directing an external vendor who is doing all of the design work for us. It didn't used to be like that. When I first started working with Riot, we did all the branding and stuff in-house between me and like another designer and then our art director manager, which was pretty wild, and it was just so fun because I got to actually create some of the logos for some of the past campaigns for TFT, which is so wild. Like, that was just something so bizarre that I had to like process for a bit. But then I think just over time, as TFT's gotten a bigger budget and they've started to expand just like how they want to do campaigns and everything, they started to kind of shift to the structure of like hiring the more directorial talent in-house and then hiring vendors to execute all the work and get more done and whatnot. Are you working on the new Set 15, and do you have any involvement in the music video? Great question, Pedro. I love that you know about Set 15. Actually, no. Jay, my friend Jay, is actually the one who has art directed set 15, and it's such a baller one because it's anime centric, it's anime themed, it's so cool, so badass. I'm actually directing set 16, which I can't talk about.
I was
yeah,
about
no,
to,
I know.
I was about to unplug her microphone.
No, I know. I can't talk about set 16. But yeah, my friend Jay Geraldo was on set 15, and she absolutely crushed it. Yeah, it's super cool.
Super cool.
Love seeing TFT kind of like flex in just different styles, and that's like one of the best things I think about TFT is that thematically it changes so drastically all the time, so you can really kind of play with narrative and, you know, all kinds of art and stuff.
Yeah.
But
so
hey, Andrew.
we have a legend in our live stream chat right now.
Andrew.
Someone I miss very much.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And I love a very, very important person in part of our journey.
Yeah.
In the sense of like a huge chapter in Audrey's and I's journey, which was Vandal. I'm not going to go into any details on what that was. You can check out Audrey's website to see more on a project we did. But Andrew was a huge part of that. Huge
Andrew
part of that.
was, yeah. One of the OGs.
Are you still in LA?
We'll give that 30 seconds for him to answer because of the latency.
Yeah, the latency. I'll talk to you in 10 minutes.
Preston. So funny enough, I've tried to play TFT like twice now. Probably not as hard of an effort as I should have put in, but man, it is just like not my kind of game. Funny enough, I really wish it was because I would just naturally be more knowledgeable about it. I've learned about it in all kinds of ways from the teams that I work with inside Riot and TFT. Yeah. I wish it was my kind of game, but it is unfortunately just not. But me and Justin play Valorant a lot. We play with his youngest brother, Josh. 3 stack it up. Ryan, I wish you'd come back.
Actually wearing a VCT hat right now.
Yeah. We went to VCT.
Couple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not for everyone. I think for me, it's just so visually overstimulating, like in a good way, because there's so much effort and work that's put into the art and the VFX and all of it, and cosmetics and everything. But I think just from like a strategy and like it's like a fun way to play chess in a way. When you think about TFT, yeah, it's not my kind of thing, unfortunately. Andrew says, yeah, over a full year. Yeah, man, that's crazy how long.
Dude, that's insane.
It feels like not that long ago you left. So what are you doing specifically with freelancing, Andrew? And do you have any questions about freelancing?
Yeah, no doubt.
Little plug in there. Aw. Definitely take the time to travel whenever you can, for sure.
See, if you've got this is a general advice for anyone. It doesn't matter if freelance or whatever. My general advice, especially you're young, Andrew, is if you have the money, and I'm talking just enough, if I was going to tell anyone what to do at a young age with some money, it's to go see the world.
100%.
Like 100%. You're talking about perspective and get the creative juices flowing and really ground yourself. Go travel as much as physically possible. Oh yeah, I can ruin I turned 24 in a month.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Bro. Dog.
Boo-hoo.
I mean, okay.
Not to discount that, because congratulations on turning 24 soon, and you're already going freelance.
We're about to have a child.
I just turned 28 a couple months ago.
I'm not going to say my age. But over 30. I know I don't look it.
But under 35, so. You have limited guesses.
You have 4 guesses.
I'll end the stream right here.
So the murder is not televised.
Yeah, right. Just catch the tail end of it.
That's crazy, dude, because how old were you when we started? 20?
Oh my god, yeah.
Were you even legal?
2021 is when Vandal launched.
Right.
That's freaking
What, were you 19,
crazy,
20
dude.
years old when we were doing Vandal?
Oh.
Uh-oh, baby's kicking.
Yeah, she's
No, we're too early. I'm not even going to jinx it and say anything like that.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm not even going to kind of say that. Yeah, guys, so we have probably We have a handful of questions
Yeah.
that we got on Instagram. You remember, is that the date?
That actually sounds right because
March 21st.
Wow.
Well, we launched
My birthday is
in
the 31st.
January of 2020.
Yep. No.
No, 2021.
It was
Wow,
21.
we were only like 2 months in when Andrew started with us.
That's crazy, man.
Wow. But we had worked on it a year prior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was our COVID project.
Wow,
Crazy,
man.
dude.
Damn. I can't believe it was that long ago, too, though.
It's still probably the project that we get, that we talk about the most whenever, or is brought up the most from clients.
Yeah. It's
which
the project
is amazing.
that I think gets me more work than any
Same.
project.
I think that's what got me Riot, honestly, was just a big old passion project.
What's funny is telling people about it, and they're like, talk us through, like, the editorial process of Vandal. And I was like, well, I can talk you through all of it.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, Audrey and Xavier and I started it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Our Discord calls and everything.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. I'm going to ask you a question, Andrew, just so we can have like a conversation. But how long has it been since you talked to Xavier? And then for everyone else, anyone else who's in here, I have no idea how many people are in here because we dropped that all down. But
let's see.
We had a handful of questions. And wow, we're famous.
Hell yeah,
Holy
dude.
hell. Yo, what's
Ballin'.
up?
Hey, Jose.
But we have a handful of questions, but I think it's better to go to chat and the people who are in here. If anyone in the chat has any questions about literally anything, I don't even really care if we talk about, personally, I don't care if we talk about freelance and stuff.
It's an open book. But yeah, we have resort questions for the background if there isn't any.
I think Audrey has like 7 written down, and then I probably have like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll leave it to the people in the chat first, just so we can like live talk about stuff.
Yeah, it seems like couple of people in there of like, changing up their location or traveling amongst freelancing and stuff. And it's especially right now, I think people would say it's a quote unquote interesting time to do that. But man, it is like, I think it's the most important thing to do, period, for like in any time. Finn says, Audrey, when you were starting out in the industry, did you learn under any art directors or creative directors? Oh my God. Yes. So I would say starting out in the industry, I would count Space Junk, which was like my internship, my first and only ever internship. I was like mid junior year, late junior year into senior year, doing like part-time work as an intern and finishing school in Columbus at this point. And that was like my first like real introduction to like the real world and like how to utilize my creative skills and all the stuff that I've been learning in art school at this time. But learning about just like what a producer was and like the roles of the creative director and getting to befriend all of the other artists kind of like in the pit and everything. And then that's where I met my now husband, Justin, father of my child.
We think.
Shut up. Don't you dare say that. Oh my God. But yeah, I learned everything before the next job that I had, everything from them, really. I mean, a lot of stuff that I learned in school was a lot more on the technical side with like learning the programs and just like executing ideas, but also like a lot of creative thinking and just like how to verbalize ideas and think through, your own stuff and everything and present and all that. But yeah, Space Junk was like the first like real professional setting that like I wanted to be a professional. I wanted to be taken seriously and just showed up and just did whatever kind of came my way. And I did a lot of like storyboarding, thumbnails for stuff, illustrating, designed for motion design a bit. And then later got a little bit into some motion design stuff, but I would argue COVID was when I actually like dove into like teaching myself motion design.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we were like living together. Yeah.
I can remember that.
But yeah, the creative directors and just like art directors and stuff, I actually learned a ton from the animation like technical director, which I wasn't under like the animation arm necessarily. I was like the creative intern with like the creative team and stuff, but learned a lot from him and just like file structure.
Who's that?
Brian. Brian ended up being more of like a hands-on, like in the weeds kind of mentor when it came to like what it looked like to kind of execute a project, and just like the thinking and like the behind the curtain of like, here's like what this project like looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And then some of the designers too gave me their entire hard drive of like design assets, like my first ever design assets, which is massive as a designer, of just having a whole bank of like textures and fonts and just like random stuff to be able to make style frames from, or some quick comps of things, and just like getting ideas on paper digitally. So yeah, it learned so much from the people around me and just asked questions, but they loved it. I mean, everyone was so nice, and people love being able to like talk about what they do, and which is why I did YouTube too. Yeah.
For anyone, I doubt there's anyone on here that is actually like new in the industry, like brand new or like in school. Everyone always talks about like school, specifically being like the biggest thing. You need to go to art school, you need to do whatever. I would argue the internships, the mentors, the shadowing you do early on is going to shape the artist you're going to end up being in so many ways. What's up, Nate? To where I really push people when they ask me about freelance and what to do and like how to break into the industry. I say, just go shadow.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Go find an internship. If you're in filmmaking, it's, you know, my answer is always try to get on sets. Try to latch on to people that you look up to. I find that this industry is not quite as stingy with information as, like, say, the film industry. Andrew, you were the craziest person ever, dude. You were
wildest sponge you've ever met.
The spongiest
in the best way
of
possible.
The perfect way. I feel like you soaked up everything you wanted to, even when we weren't like available to maybe talk about stuff, like me and Xavier specifically, and then you went on and did your own shit, and you did it really well. And so you're like a perfect example of that. I like to think I'm an example of that. I don't even have a degree in what I do for a living, right? It was a passion when I was a kid that I followed and was like, I don't really care about school. I want to be around people who are making the stuff I respect. So I clung onto them like a fungus on a toe or something.
A little barnacle.
And so, and then I... And then I
cut to commercial.
Cut to commercial. Halo montages is the greatest mentor.
That's how he got his job at Space Junk.
I'm gonna stop talking about that and answer Andrew's question. How many months in advance would you want to have work signed until you cross the line as comfortable?
It sucks, and it's funny how it doesn't always work exist? Like that. Like, yeah.
So we have two very different perspectives because Audrey's been so full-time-ish with Riot for years.
Mm-hmm. Most of my freelance time, honestly, has been with Riot.
And to me, a long-term contract... and to me, a long-term contract is 3 months. I would say is the longest.
As a freelancer,
I'm on a project for post.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't even really look at it like that, Andrew. I look at like quality of job and quality of pay for a singular project. I rarely take something that is way below my rate, and I rarely take something that's just like 2 or 3 days. Because the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, and this is if you have the luxury of being busy. If it's feast or famine, you take whatever you can get, right? But for me, if a job comes in that's only 2 or 3 days and the pay's not great, I'm going to actually turn that job down, because the worst thing I can do is have that on hold and then have to tell a client that wants me for 3 weeks with my rate that they've got something for me, and I've got to say, well, I've got this weird thing for 3 days right in the middle of your project, and them go, that's not going to work for us, which does happen and has happened.
Yeah.
So I always look at quality of work and quality of the pay overall. I work on day rate only. That's all I've ever worked on. Sometimes a project rate will pop up, and I like those because sometimes a producer will come to me and say, we have X amount of money. We need you for 3 weeks. Does that sound good? I look at it and I go, absolutely. It sounds great. Those are my favorite because there's no back and forth. There's no me determining what my day looks like or, trying to help them build a schedule. And so for me, like, I don't know if I sit down and look and go, and I don't know if you ever do. I don't know if you sit down and look and you're like, great, I'm booked for the next 3 months. Somehow your mind still goes, well, what the fuck happens in month 4? And so you still look for work in month 4 somehow. And
I think we should talk about, especially because, especially with my perspective too, of like, I've been on the client side for so long, ironically, as a freelancer, where I know what those conversations look like with like marketing budgets and stuff. And when they start planning things out, I think we should talk about like what that kind of looks like in terms of seasonality too, where you think about like, oh, summer's the slow season. September, August is when things start picking up because they're getting ready for the holidays. And this is kind of relating more to like ad and like campaign and like commercial related stuff. But like, what do you think when it comes to like trying to book jobs and plan around, because it's really not up to us. You know what I mean? It's like, are we going to get hit up? And I know like cold emailing can be a thing, but
give
like
me an example. What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling. I don't really have like a, your experience.
It's the biggest crux of freelance, right? Is like, how do you get work? Okay. So it's the number one, in a weird way at this point, frustratingly, it's the most annoying question. And I'm not saying don't keep asking me, but like, it's the most frequent question I get, and it's by far is like, how do you get work? What's your method? I've got a million ways to answer that question. I'm not going to dive into all of that. I don't know. The industry's so tough, and I'm a little more hard-ass than you. I'm a little more blunt, I think, in the sense of like when people ask me stuff, I kind of look back and I go, do you actually think you're cut out to be a freelancer? Because it's not the same.
No, it changes so much.
It completely reshapes how your general life looks and feels moving forward when you go freelance. You no longer have any type of safety net or luxury. And I know people are going safety net, but people are getting laid off all the time. I know that. I've seen that firsthand. I worked at Carvana and they cut, 15% of the workforce while I was there over Zoom. Yeah. So like, I understand that, but there's a weird thing where you also have to be your own boss and fight for yourself, and you have to fight for work, and you have to fight against the insane amount of creative talent that is actually out there and the shitty talent. Right? Like, let's be real. You're fighting against all of it. There's a sea of people out there trying to get the exact same job you are. Look at any LinkedIn post that's calling for a freelance designer, a freelance editor. There's 500 comments under that post.
And most of the time, people don't actually read what the post is asking for and think they are immediately qualified because of the title.
I think that's one of the biggest deterrents.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The amount of times I see someone post their name or their reel or their website under a post that's looking for an editor. Let's use me for an example. And they didn't read the post, obviously, because it's like, we're looking for an editor in Kuwait. And I see a dude based in New York City or a guy based in Atlanta being like, me.
Caveat with the post saying not looking for remote.
Yeah, it's like, what? You don't live anywhere near.
If you can't cross that first step of just reading like what is being asked and stuff, I feel like that's such a deterrent for people hiring people if they can't.
And then everyone sees that, right? Because everything on LinkedIn's public. So like when you comment on that, other producers or other project managers or recruiters or whoever are seeing that, and they're like, this person doesn't even.
Not paying attention.
Right? They're just spamming LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think is the opposite direction you should be going in. For both of you, what is your preference for client communication? Frequency, stopping points, etc.?
When you say client communication, do you mean like by platform, like via email or Slack or
can I get clarity on when you say client communication? Do you mean new, like trying to start a new
Like a new relationship?
Or existing relationship with a client.
And like stopping points. Like what, like if you're checking in with like a client of like, hey, following up or something.
Or are you saying like you've gotten ghosted for the last 6 months, probably time to give up on it? Because that's also an absolute...
clarity on that would be good. But Finn's asked a good question that goes into piggybacking off of what you were just talking about of like what makes a good freelancer. We were just, I mean, even just the LinkedIn thing that we're talking about, that's kind of like a microscopic little thing that, you know, that helps with being a freelancer. Perseverance and attention to detail, you know.
Honestly, it sucks because I really don't think everyone should freelance.
I don't think so either.
So for me,
it's not for everyone.
You have to have an unrivaled amount of confidence in yourself somehow while also being able to battle imposter syndrome on the daily. And you have to be okay with no or nothing.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is someone saying, I don't think you're maybe at the level, or just never fucking hearing back from that person or company.
That's honestly worse than hearing a no, because it's just like, well, do I,
right.
You know?
And then you can hit a follow-up or maybe another follow-up after that. But after a while, and I think that might be what Andrew's alluding to, like after a while, you need to maybe let a client go and follow up again in 6 months, right? Say you got an update. Look, I think freelancing is incredibly difficult for most people because they think it's going to be really easy and they're just going to find work. And in the industry we're in right now, everyone is showing that that's just absolutely not true. But I've talked to Audrey about this multiple times because obviously we talk about this stuff on the daily. The best thing, and you can call it a soft skill, whatever. I hate labeling all of that shit. But like the best thing you can be is an amazing communicator. And I've always said 50% of my job is being an educator.
Yeah.
It's not being a freelancer.
100%.
It's not being an editor. It's educating my client on, hey, this is how this thing works. That timeline's not going to work for X, Y, and Z. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work. That's crazy. That's
setting
an impossible
expectations
thing. Setting
all
expectations, helping with schedule. Hey, that budget doesn't work. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
You can't just say that budget doesn't work. There's an obvious reason they told you that budget, and it's because they're uneducated in what post-production pipelines look like. Do you even realize, so this is a hypothetical, client comes to you and then you look at the scope and you go, do you realize what actually goes into prepping for live action pipelining over to 3D and then back to live action, and then it needs to be color graded into sound design? You have to educate, and you have to be very confident in how you're educating clients, because I feel like that is legitimately 50% of my job.
It's crazy.
Is trying to fill clients in on what process actually looks like. No, I can't do that in 4 hours.
Hey,
that's
Chris.
Legitimately impossible.
Yeah.
What you're asking me is impossible.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris? So I think being a communicator and being a good one, I think if you're incredibly introverted and you have a hard time selling yourself, the work, educating, you can be the most talented freelancer in the world. I've told this to Audrey 100 times. My philosophy on freelancing is your work will get you in the door. Your personality and your smarts and your education to the client
will get you the job.
Your organization, your communication will get them to call you back, right? You can have the best reel and the best portfolio in the world and you're going to get hired. But if you suck during those 6 weeks you're with that client, they're never calling your ass ever again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And during those 6 weeks or 2 weeks or 2 days, you've got to be really good on how you communicate. We talk about it all the time. Over communicate. If you under communicate or you didn't read something they gave you and you're asking questions they've already told you about, that makes you look unseasoned. And you don't want to be raw chicken. You know what I mean? I don't know why I made that joke. It was
terrible.
Stupid. It was a bad joke.
Really bad.
I'm going to move on.
Yeah. But there's other qualities also just with being a freelancer, and a lot of stuff just comes with experience also. Like there's no book in the world that's going to just give you everything of like, here's how to be a freelancer. What?
I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
Real quick. This is soapboxy.
Okay.
Can we stop with the Substacks and the newsletters?
Everyone's got a mic, and we've got two right now.
And
but
join
still.
my course for $600 a year. Can we stop, please? Like, if you're going to make education for freelancers, and let's be realistic, most people who are trying to look at these resources are probably struggling, and that's why they're looking for resources.
Joining
and then you're like,
communities
and then
and
you're
all
like,
that, yeah.
pay me $1,000.
To be a part of it, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Stop signing up for this shit, man. Like, reach out. Okay, so let me give you an example. You really want to break into a specific industry. I would spend as much energy as do not try to sell yourself. Just a communication, hey, how's it going, to a producer, a creative director, a technical director.
The people that actually hire
and say,
the
could I
talent.
get 15 minutes of your time? I would love to pick your brain about this thing. I'll buy you a cup of coffee, whatever. And just pick their brain and get that education straight from the source. These crazy courses that people are making you pay for, and these newsletters that you're getting spammed with every week are regurgitating the same shit that everyone
100%, Chris.
It's
Yeah.
100%. Audrey and I talk about this all the time because it's got to be one of the most frustrating things I see as someone who, knock on wood, I believe Audrey and I have had pretty successful freelance careers where I'm like, I would never do that. I would never, ever, ever try to create this newsletter that someone has to pay for, taking advantage of people who really need this information.
It's just
Just
so
to
bizarre.
make some money. It's crazy.
Well,
So I don't
what's
believe in
one
that
thing
stuff.
too is just it's just not a one size fits all. And I think
Never.
when you generalize it enough to be like, this is for freelancers, and you're not talking about the industry, the changing rates and budgets that happen, that change every year, and especially all the shit that's going on in the creative industry right now, everything changes so much, and to not account for those things that in the economics and the ecosystem of it all too, and just to be be a good person, all the soft skills, that's not the whole pie of it all. It's just not all of the biggest, the big picture.
Completely agree with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Right. And everyone has different perspectives and stuff too, where people creating these courses or newsletters or whatever may not have had struggles or something with freelance, and they just kind of are yeah, this is just how you do everything, or they've struggled.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Though? Ask these people, can I see your reel?
Can I see your reel?
Now, here's my thing. I promise you, they're either not going to send you one, or the work that is on that reel is maybe not even up to your standard quality of work. I find that most of the people who are pushing these courses find that's their way to generate revenue for themselves.
Oh yeah, passive income.
To sell to vulnerable, as Chris mentioned, vulnerable people who really think that they need this injection of information to be successful from someone. You're selling a course, you must be really successful. I find most of these people are not.
I have looked at the websites and the work of some people that create courses and communities and everything. And this is not everyone, obviously. This is just the few that I've seen in my time of freelancing. Whenever I was probably looking at courses, just like anyone wanting to just learn more about the industry, the work and process and whatever, and look at their work of the stuff, what have you done to back up all of this information that I should be paying for? And man, it is truly disappointing a lot of the
times. And I'm not saying every course is bad.
No, not at all.
I
especially
see
when it's more niche down.
Totally.
I think that stuff is definitely great to know. But
I bought, and I'm a huge person. Funny enough, some people think I have a successful career, and I still look at my career as so unfinished and.
Oh yeah. Just like Natasha Bedingfield says, the rest is still unwritten. You know what I mean?
One sec, I need to take another drink. Let me wash that one from my memory real quick.
He loved it.
I did like it.
Yeah.
It was good. Sometimes we've lost viewers because of that stupid line, Audrey.
Maybe. It's okay.
I still like to be educated, so I try to find as much information as possible. And yeah, 75%, 80% of the time, I'm like, wow, I did just spend $250 on this, and it said everything I already knew, but I did get a new sound design pack. But Ezra Cohen, okay, Ezco, has a really cool breakdown on the edit process. And on top of that, you get 1,000 fucking assets that are really strong for free. if you buy the course. Totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally worth it. Anyways, Andrew followed up on his question, said, when setting the frame for a project you just landed, establishing that during the contract phase or whatever clauses or things you make sure to put in for the quality of your life during the project, whether that's setting clear guidelines for comms, net 30, due date revisions, formats, whatever. We just talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
Audrey and I just talked about this the other day.
It's funny, too, because I feel like with contracts, it's like, at least for me, I've had a split experience between me providing a contract to a client versus them providing a contract, especially if they're more of like a higher up, like direct to client kind of entity. I mean, I think one off the bat should be getting a percentage up front. You know, whether that's 30%,
that's
50, hard. Whatever. It is hard,
that's
but
hard.
like ask for it. You
Ask
know
me
what
how
I mean?
many times I've ever got that.
I've gotten that a few times. I mean,
twice in 3 years.
Yeah, but gotta fight for it.
Do you know what I will have done? Them signing an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
You
agreeing that
your
like you're saying okay
signature
to this number. Yeah.
So if you don't pay me, your signature's on it, dog. We agreed on that. I don't know why I said dog. I'm not that hip.
We're just casual freelancers. That's why. I mean, that's how we talk
casual,
to our clients.
but you establish a relationship.
Yeah.
So most of my client base is repeat. The last 9 months has been new, which has been surprising to me, and they've been amazing. But now they're repeat. And so for me, it's like, yeah, if you can get money up front, great. Amazing.
It's a great, nice to have.
The people who are like, don't take work from the people who... Don't take work from the people...
There's bugs in here.
Don't take work from the people who won't give you percentage up front. It's like, that's just not... To me,
it's not always up to us.
It is not that's not a given. I sign more contracts than I give. I've maybe only given I find smaller mom and pops, straight direct to client, you are creating a contract for them to sign. Because education, they don't know what they're needing, what they're talking about really, how payment structure works. And that's great. You can educate, right? And you set the contract
Give them
standard.
that structure.
But for example, I've worked with NVIDIA and Hasbro, I'm thinking direct to client, over the last 9 months multiple times. They both just provide a contract. But they also put you on payroll.
But read that shit, you know?
They also put you on payroll.
Yeah.
So you're getting paid. You're in their system. They're not going to not pay. It's Hasbro.
Yeah.
It's NVIDIA. They're not going to not pay you.
I would also say, too, with stuff regarding, timelines, because again, freelancing, there more than likely going to be some project overlap, and when it comes to stuff like overages and everything of hey, you said that the deadline is this, anything beyond this, it's this percentage or this much as a day rate or whatever after the fact, agreeing, make sure they agree to that.
Not to plug, Audrey has a video coming out very soon.
I do have a video coming out.
On this exact topic. I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
I watched it. I did a QC on it this morning.
Yeah, and I still have some edits to make.
She needs to do some things to it.
Yeah, he's my QC guy. Yeah, I do have a video kind of coming out. I think I'm going to try and do it next week. But with contracts, though, I think timeline is such a crucial thing. I'm speaking from experience, too, because I had a project that is just burned into my memory where it never had a structured, work back schedule or just deadlines for anything. It just kind of, existed somehow, and it just went on and on. But I told them up front, I think I had a riot contract coming up, and I was like, look, I can't do anything past this day. And that project, man, oh my God, it would not end. It didn't even really go anywhere. They had to hire a different art director to get on that because I'm like, I can't do this. Physically, I'm about to start a full time. It made me cry. That was the one job that actually kind of brought me to tears because I was so stressed out.
Yeah, but I remember looking at
it was
that
awful.
Well, I'm not going to talk about
I mean, whatever. Bygones be bygones, but
scope of work.
Yeah,
right?
Scope of work.
Listen,
SOW.
If a client early on, Andrew, to your point, to me, a bad client is someone who does not provide you with a scope of work. Okay, maybe not a bad client. Here's the golden client to me. In their email, they provide you a scope of work. Well, first of all, they hit you up and go, if you're interested. You go, yeah. You sign an NDA. They're going to send you a scope of work, timeline, and a budget.
Hopefully.
I said golden client.
Yeah,
golden client.
Yes, sorry.
Okay?
Yes.
A good client, at the minimum, needs to send you a scope of work. If they ask you to help them build out a timeline, I'm like, why am I doing your job? You should almost bill for that shit.
Yeah, it's like a consulting fee almost.
But the craziest thing is, do not let them get you down the line or put a hold on you until you know what that budget is and the schedule. Because you need to cross-check, does the schedule even make sense, or are they talking some crazy
unrealistic
shit?
Expectations.
And the money doesn't line up with that.
Do the math. Always do the math.
If they hit you with a project rate, which I am semi against. Some
Yeah.
people live and die by the project rate. I hate the
It's
day
just
rate.
complicated,
Or I hate
man.
hourly. I would never work hourly in a million years. Know your day, right? Know your day rate. Divide that by their schedule. And if that number is not close to what their project rate is, you need to tell them it's not close to your rate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's something you think you can knock out in a day or two, whatever. But a lot of clients just don't, they're not thinking through it in that process.
They don't
I
factor
think.
in other variables. And also a lot of times too, they don't account for like feedback time or just like contingency, where stuff where the higher up CEO or whatever the fuck is like, no, don't like this, scrap it. And then they have to
It's a recent project.
Yeah.
Let me ask you all a question. All four of you.
That's not nice.
If
How many we got? We got 8. We got double that.
9. We just went up because of that joke.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I lost it. It's gone.
Amazing.
If a client is asking you to build a schedule, better question. To Audrey's point of feedback days. When you look at a schedule and you see feedback days and you realize that they're giving their client 3 days,
There's an army of us.
Dozens. And there are 3 days of feedback time going to the agency's client. What do you do in those 3 days?
Are you actually asking me? Or?
I'm asking chat.
Oh, okay. Well, you're looking at me, so.
What do you do in those 3 days, Audrey?
I'll be honest, I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Okay, you're on a project for 2 months.
Yes.
But in the work back, in their schedule, multiple times they give their client 3 days to give feedback. But they wanted you on hold through the whole thing. Huh. Do you get where I'm going with that?
You get paid those days.
You
if you're
fucking
not
get
doing
paid.
anything.
You get paid those days.
If you're not even fucking doing anything,
Dog,
you get
if
paid.
I'm uploading files and I'm waiting 18 hours because you gave me 420 terabytes
You
for
answer
whatever
one
reasons,
Slack message or one email. You get paid for
I'm
that
getting
day.
paid.
You
I'm
were on
making my day.
hold. Yes.
You held my days. Do not.
It's the security.
What do you mean you want to hold me for 27 days, but you don't want to pay me for the 9 you're waiting on your client? Does that mean I get to take work?
Right.
Do I get to take another project, or is that a no-no for you?
Right.
So you want me to not get paid and sit on my hands for
Double
9 days of the
standard.
project?
Yeah.
No.
Won't happen.
You pay. You make sure you get your days.
If you're on hold, you are paid those days, no matter what single minute or 8 hours or whatever of work you do.
You both do a lot of different services as services. I think that means as skills. If you had to pick one thing to deliver on as a freelancer, what would it be?
I think at this point, and I don't know if this is just because I'm like in it right now, is like art directing. I really liked it up to this point.
I think I'd like for someone to give me $100 million and I never have to do what I do ever
Yeah, I
again.
think just the skill of just holding money. I'd say art directing for me.
Yeah, I mean, it would be directing a live action piece that I helped concept and develop. If I could have anything in the world, it would be to be a commercial director that is doing the work I actually am passionate about genuinely. But luckily, over the last 9 months, I've cut some really cool shit. And most of which I'm still not allowed to talk about, which is so stupid. But it's crazy. Most of my website is not updated because most of the work I'm still NDA'd out of my ass on. And I can't post it
That's
on
another thing
LinkedIn.
that
I can't
sucks
use it
about
as
freelancing.
a promotion, and it's some of the best work I've ever done on the coolest stuff I've ever done. So it's kind of sucks, double edged. Chris says that's a tough thing. My clients nowadays have been working directly with tech clients on a project basis, and there's a period of time where they
Oh
have
my
to run it up
God.
and down the chain for feedback.
The chain of feedback. Holy shit. The cooks in the kitchen, man. It gets out of hand nowadays, I feel like.
Yeah, so, I mean...
The whole boardroom.
When you work with an agency, right?
Yeah.
You're working with the middleman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you might be, in my position or even Audrey's, you're cutting or designing for an agency that has to send that stuff to the client. So you're working directly with the middleman. You never, ever get feedback, very rarely, I don't want to say never, directly from the horse's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to see how your agency interpreted the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get it, you're like, is that really what they meant?
From the messenger.
Are you sure that's what they meant?
Yeah.
Yep. And so that is really tough. That's 90% of my life.
Man.
And then finding out that when you send the new cut, it was not interpreted properly, right, from your agency.
Well, there's been times for you, especially, I can remember specifically where, like, you assume the client meant something and you did it, and then you sent it to, like, the agency or whatever, and they're like, no, like, let's change this or whatever, and then it ends up being
Exactly
what you did
the client
originally.
meant.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really annoying.
I'll get client notes in, like, say, a Google Doc. Or
Which
on
is
Frame.io.
bizarre.
Right?
I think also I'll just add, when it comes to feedback on visual stuff, there should be a visual program or entity or something to give feedback on, not
Frame.
a freaking Google Doc or
Frame.io.
spreadsheet. Frame.io for motion and video, or like freaking Figma, or a Google slide deck with images for design stuff or whatever. Something with visuals, because to write feedback and not have anything to physically reference is just maddening. Like, I don't know. I don't know how people do that. But anyway, sorry.
What was that saying?
I know. That's why. I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
Sorry.
Anyways.
I cut them off.
Yep. Any more questions? I genuinely do not remember what I was talking about.
I mean, you were talking about feedback from horse's mouth.
Yeah. Donkeys.
Yeah.
What other farm animals? Goats?
Llamas.
Llamas?
Yeah.
They spit
Alpacas.
on you. Or is that the alpaca?
I think it's the alpaca.
Spits?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. Any more cues from Cheat?
If not, we'll go to the reserve.
Maybe give it 2 minutes. I'm going to use the restroom.
Are you going to grab our food?
Are you starving?
Starting
I'm
to
pretty
get there.
hungry. Who wants to watch us eat Indian?
Yeah, we're going to... The baby girl is
I'll do
asking
that.
for
I'll use the
Indian
bathroom.
food.
Seriously, though.
Yeah, any questions?
Questions would be amazing.
I'll tap into the reserve that we have, though, from this week. One of them, I think this was from Jose, correct me if I'm wrong, is, can you talk about what it was like for you to develop your personal design / illustration style? This one's funny because I feel like it didn't take until me going freelance in 2021 for me to kind of find that. I think it took me becoming my own entity and like having to really do a lot of the self-reflecting and like, who am I, what am I doing, and what am I offering, and what am I good at, and all that kind of stuff. Because before that, I had like a year and a half, almost 2 years in an in-house, like, oh my gosh, what was it? It was like a tech AI company. I know, AI. It was like a healthcare tech company. I actually didn't choose the job. I say this every time. It was something I was kind of roped into because the internship that I met Justin at, before that, they were kind of cutting some people, and financially just didn't look like it was in the cards for me as an intern, again, at this time, that I was going to be sticking around. So I took whatever, I took the opportunity that was given to me, pretty much, to be a lead designer at this tech company, work in-house. Hated it with every fiber of my being, but I made hella good money for a very recent, art school graduate. So I was like, whatever, cool. But during all that time, I pretty much was just working on building up the gusto and the contacts and the money, all that good stuff to eventually go freelance. And COVID, kind of put a little pause to that. So just kind of was just more time to like meet up with people, talk about freelance, whatever. But yeah, it didn't take until freelancing, I feel like, to kind of look at like my personal branding, my website, the kind of stuff that I wanted to do more work of. And just, I think over time, I think over time kind of noticing what kind of things I might have been like illustrating just in my free time, or stuff that just felt very inspiring and stuff that I looked at a lot, and just like what I was drawn to. And then I think over time, when you kind of see that, especially on like an Instagram grid or something, you kind of see like a trend over time of like where your style kind of like leans into. It's very bizarre. It's something that I feel like other people from like an outside perspective notice before you do, where people are like, oh yeah, that's definitely your style, like I can definitely tell that like you made that, but I'm like, I don't even know how you know that. You know, I feel like that happens with like design and illustration and stuff. But for me, I had like the longest struggle of just like kind of being all over the place, where like different styles and different illustration styles and whatnot just always kind of change, and I just always like wanted to explore different avenues of that. So I never really felt like I had one, but I think as I matured, as I went on my own and everything, I kind of found that naturally. So hate to say that that's like more of like a time a time and experience and just like making stuff kind of thing, that you just kind of find yourself in. But let's see, was freelancing always your plan after graduating, not sticking with an agency or studio? It was. Really cool thing in art school. They had I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was like a business for freelance class. Like it was an actual like financial related class, but it was specifically for freelancing. So I took that with kind of the like, yeah, I can definitely see myself doing something on my own one day, just never knowing when. And little did I know it was really going to be a couple years later, not like down the line. So that was like a super helpful class, I think, just to at least get some of the initial like terminology and just like, hey, this thing exists when it comes to tax forms and deductions, and, you know, good idea to have a reservoir of 30% of your income at bay for tax season and stuff like that, because you're paying both employer and employee taxes. Those percentages kind of add up. There's more technical things, and I am not a CPA by any means. Justin's much better at money things than I am. But yeah, I think I did know, even in college, that I was gonna like end up doing my own thing one day, just not really knowing when. But it took I think Justin's having a hard time getting in the door. Yes? Help? All right, 1 second.
Hello, I'm back.
Dinner is served. Thanks. We're talking about if I knew about me going into freelance while I was in school or quickly after. I am glad I went into freelancing pretty quickly. I feel like at the time it felt like it took forever because COVID hit and it delayed my plans. I was going to go freelance, ironically enough, March or April of 2020.
Tiki
and that's
Masala?
literally and that's literally when COVID hit. And that was, to me, just like a weird universal sign of like, maybe this isn't the right time, you know? And I can't imagine what people who were freelancers during COVID, like before it even hit, were going through, because man, that timing to me was just a little too creepy to be like, yeah, no, I'm still going to push for it. Even though the industry is in freaking flames and we don't know if people even want freelancers right now. So I'm glad I waited. I waited about another year. And again, just saved more money. And me and Justin moved in together at that time. I developed my motion skills through that time as well. Learned a lot of things. Talked with a lot of people that had freelance experience at one point or another, and just talked through like, hey, does this like as a day rate sound right for like my caliber of, you know, skills and experience and all that stuff, and you know, kind of getting.
Which question are you looking at?
This was kind of more of like, this one, and like getting into freelance. Yeah.
Porters.
Huh?
Did you answer the one in between?
Ooh, no, I have not. But yeah, all that to say, I feel like the timing lined up really well. But having money kind of set aside to be able, to plan ahead for that, that's always a big thing. And having contacts, people that can vouch for you, people that can just forward you work, other freelancers that are like, I'm too busy with something. Do you want this job? All that stuff, super helpful in the initial freelancing time for sure. How to determine if the video you do looks good or it's actually converting. Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip one? Yeah, I did. Were you happy with the style you found for yourself or found in the trend you've developed? I think for me, like, I just love drawing. I love painting. I love making stuff, period. I think the style that I found myself in, I think it's more of like I've developed and accrued more tools over time where like semi-recently I've started to try and incorporate like 3D with like 2D stuff, kind of mixed medium kind of things. I think just the experimentation of all of that has been like where I find the most like fulfillment and happiness in, and getting to kind of see like what in the weeds, what that looks like and everything. But I think overall the style, yeah, I'm vibing. I'm chilling, whatever I put out there in the world. I mean, at least I like it in some fashion, But yeah, I just love making stuff. I mean, even with YouTube, that's just another medium for me to like play around with and everything. But how is it, babe?
The
Tiki masala good?
It's amazing. You don't want me to answer that question.
Why not?
Because I hate everything I do.
Biggest self-critic over here.
That's no exaggeration.
No, I know. Well, it's mostly because the work that you do also just have so many cooks in the kitchen, and you don't get to like have as much of a say in creative and everything, and it couldn't, never ends up as good as it could be, even with your hands though. Yeah. That's
everything.
Yeah, unless you do it yourself like we did with Vandal, like you're never going to be like 100% with something, but Khalid says, how to determine if the video you do looks good or it's actually converting. I'm assuming this is for Justin. Because I don't know. Maybe that's a YouTube question for me. I don't know. But yeah, if we could get an answer on that, I think those are two drastically different answers, I'm sure.
I can answer the first part. I cannot answer the second part.
But yeah, let me know if that's a question for Justin, since he's a video editor and works in video, or if that's for me and YouTube, since I make all my own videos and stuff and just have Justin watch them and give me notes.
Wow, someone's a show off.
And they speed on our street a lot. I hate it.
Question for you all, if you don't want to talk about it, but do you bill to your Social Security or have an EIN? We're both different.
I have an EIN. I have an LLC. I established one right before I went freelance, or I guess a year before I went freelance.
Ask Audrey if she thinks that was a good idea.
I do think it's a good idea. I think for me now, it's kind of a, I don't know. It hasn't really done a ton for me. It's more of a liability thing that protects me from my individual self.
The idea
I'm going to eat real quick.
Of the LLC is that it protects you, right? In the event that you get sued. If you don't have an LLC, the LLC becomes liable, and the only thing that can be sued is the company, right? I still use my SSN because honestly, dude, like, I'm not working with Joe's well, that's actually a real company. Joe's Peanut Gallery in Boise, right? Like, I just don't work with clients that are local and small and have a reason to like make a fuss. NVIDIA's not going to fucking sue me because the work wasn't amazing. NVIDIA, first of all, never lets their work not be amazing, right? Most of my clients will not let me finish a job if it's not what they want because they can't deliver that to their client. So for me, Social Security number has worked great. Eventually, down the line, Audrey and I are going to do a little something.
That will require some form of LLC.
That will be like an actual company. But That's down the line. That's future me talking. But I think that, it really depends, man, because like setting up an LLC, but you can establish an EIN without using your social security number. You don't have to do that. Like if you're uncomfortable using your social, you can have an EIN made underneath of some type of sole proprietorship, 100%. So really your call. It depends on like, move it to a state with tax benefits. Yeah, right. Yeah. Boise or Idaho's not too bad. Phoenix, Arizona, was amazing from a tax standpoint. Dude, you know what's funny though is like Audrey and I, not in like a, I'm not trying to come off like an app, like, I don't know how to say this without, but like we can have as many write-offs as we want a year and we still pay a ridiculous amount of money in tax throughout the year. So,
I think this was the first year where I shed an actual tear at how much we had to pay in taxes.
It's a good problem to have.
Because we also filed jointly this year, which was different, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, so Andrew, actually, believe it or not, I try to buy one big thing a year for that specific reason.
He bought me my Herman Miller desk chair last year.
Yeah,
that was his
expense.
expense.
I'm like, what is a good expensive thing I can buy that's useful to me once a year? I bought an FX3 one year. This year I bought an anamorphic lens. I bought a chair. I bought a PC. A bunch of gear. Tons of gear. I buy it for personal use, right? But I use it for the business too, like when I shoot, so it's a write-off. And then it's like getting creative and like figuring out what write-offs make sense for you, right? I tend to be asked to create work I don't personally agree with from both a design and UX perspective. So I also tend to not like what I make except for personal work. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Blazar. Yep. I bought the Apex autofocus 35 mil. It's got some crazy vignetting on it, but once you de-squeeze and zoom in, it's pretty sick.
There's an ant on my desk.
Yeah, we live very close to the wilderness of the foothills of Boise. I'm moving my microphone away and taking a bite of food.
It's very good. Excuse me. I'm curious to know, Andrew, you don't have to answer this because this is expense related, but like in terms of expenses, that's something, especially around tax season, that I look at a lot because I have a business credit card that anything related to my business / what I do for work is just tacked to that business card, so that when tax season comes around, I can just look at my statements. And I have a little spreadsheet that I kind of just add everything up real quick, but it's not something that I have to go dig around different cards or just, invoices or whatever. That has been super helpful. A lot of them are just recurring, like Adobe, Slack, Figma, whatever, Dropbox. All that stuff is all write-off stuff. But I do know, just like, try to have the least amount of expenses as, if you don't need them, because you don't get 100% of that back with taxes, when tax season comes around. Like, I know it's a deduction, but it's only percentage, so if it's really not worth having, or if it's just taking up space on your credit card statement or whatever, I don't know. That's just me personally. Like, I need to probably cut some things that I don't need.
Or you run into what Chris is saying.
Chris says, I bought a new MacBook in November last year before having a bunch of gigs fall through in the following months. Yeah, man, I remember buying my MacBook not that long ago and paying it off with the Apple Card, my Apple Card or whatever.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I feel like it took for freaking ever to get paid off because it was a monthly thing, and I did it through Apple and whatever, but yeah, that's another thing too, is just like kind of doing some of that math of like gigs lined up, what's going to be incoming, take off 30%, reserve that for taxes. What do you need base level for living and whatever, and what do you have left that you can be using for business expenses?
Yeah.
if you need that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
stuff follows your ass,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
Weird how, Chris, like, from a work standpoint,
It's been weird, and it's only like I say it's only July, but man, so much I feel like has just happened this year that's just so icky. Like that's the only way I can describe it, you know, just from industry and just the world and yeah, financial stuff and whatever.
did you answer any of the questions we got off of?
I talked about the first one up here, and then some other ones came in.
What did you ask Andrew earlier?
Um,
I bet you $20 she lost it.
No, it was about because Andrew said he had a lot of expenses, and I was kind of more just talking out loud of like curious to know like what expenses those are with like the freelance work that you do, which I'm also curious about because I don't really.
I bet he bought a camera.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I know with the craft and skill that you do too, like there's just different expenses for that. Where like Justin and like in live action editing, shooting, that world, your guys' realm is so expensive from a gear standpoint, where like for me, I just need like an iPad and a laptop, and like anything else is like awesome, but like I can be anywhere at any time and be able to make stuff, but you guys have a much more bespoke kind of process. Hi, Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
Andrew number 2. Business degree has been super great as foundation to pair with chasing the crap. Yeah, definitely, I bet. Oh my God, Chris, I'm so sorry. Dude, the people
I've had that.
also, yeah, the people that you're connected with that are like your person, or you're in with like a certain company or whatever, and they end up like getting laid off or going somewhere else, hopefully. Like yeah, that affects freelancers too. People don't think about that a lot. Some gear subscriptions, travel. Yeah, travel, deduct that shit. We deduct diner breakfast sometimes because we end up just talking shop the whole time. If you talk about business over coffee or a meal, then deduct that shit.
Yep.
Square footage of my living. Yeah. Yep. Definitely deduct the square footage of your like working space too. I do that every year. I think I got in the last place about 700 back, just from like our individual offices and stuff. Now we share one. This is
And we have
our
a
office.
$2,500 a year write-off right there. See that?
Baby, if you're watching later in the future,
That's the hard
just
part
know.
of my business. Just know you did your job. Great work. That's the hard part for my business, other than software subscriptions and time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the similar boat to Audrey, right? Is like a laptop every couple years, maybe an iPad, subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, realistically. But that's most people,
Software,
right? Like
supplies, subscriptions.
if you're not a shooter or DP, really not a ton of need. Like the contract being in my client's hands for a long stretch of time without being signed before someone saying nope. Yeah, the worst part ever is getting put on a first hold 2 months out from a date. During your first hold, you get people who are challenging it, right? And you go to the first company and say, hey, someone's challenging this first hold. Are you still looking to book me? And they go, oh, yeah, absolutely. So you turn down the work. And then right at the last second, your first hold gets rug pulled. I do believe in kill fees, right? So like if you sign a contract, if it gets to the contract sign stage, you should charge a kill fee of some degree.
100%.
And my like really good agencies and studios that I work with will pay me a kill fee if they end up pulling the rug out from under me last second.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to add clauses for sign window into bigger contracts. So if I'm on the hook waiting longer than 2 weeks, there's a penalty. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's funny. Like a lot of times I've got a job right now, right this second, that I got asked 6 weeks ago to do. And it's still another 2 weeks away. and I signed on to it back then. But this is a client I know is going to activate the hold, and if they don't, they're going to pay me a kill fee. I know they're going to do it. It's an arbitrary system that doesn't really mean anything, and I feel like if I went to, because I saw W. Porter's comment, I feel like if I said I'm not putting you on hold, a lot of my clients would actually drop me. I think if I said, like, that's not the way I'm going to do it, you have to just pay me, like, let's go, I think I'd get dropped. I do. I don't do second holds. I refuse to do that. And my biggest thing, the way I play the hold system, is if someone else comes to me with a job while I'm on a first hold and they say, we want to book you right now, we've got a contract ready, I will go to the plate. I'll do the right thing.
Yep.
I'll go to the first client and say, hey, someone else is challenging your hold. I need you to put a contract in front of me today that we're signing. And if they don't do it, a lot of the times they say, well, okay, fine, we can't do that. We'll release you, right? And so I found like the hold system hasn't really screwed me yet.
Yeah.
Because I will get challenged, and then I will go with the challenge to the first company and be like, you gotta activate this hold right now. And they usually do, right?
Gives them some urgency. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with holds really in my time of freelancing, but again, like a lot of my time has been on a full-time contract that, you know, is a long amount of time, and everything is just kind of there, and I know the people and everything, but that is like a very spoiled situation.
So Chris, if it happened the Friday before, I would have already had their ass for a kill fee. I wouldn't
crazy.
I wouldn't wait for it to be that close for a hold to activate or
Jeez,
whatever,
man.
for a project to kick off.
That's some shitty.
I make sure I'm like all in on a job about 2 weeks out. So I want a contract signed about 2 weeks out. That's the longest I'll hold something. And you can drop a hold. I mean, you can drop a hold. You know what I mean? Give them a little taste of their own medicine. You're probably never going to work with that client ever again. So you have to be okay to do that.
That comes back to the whole point of just like the educating of clients. And I feel like we're starting to see this a little more on LinkedIn, where like people are starting to be more specific about like, hey, I had this really shitty experience. Sometimes client, the business or whatever's named, most of the time it's not, you know, like whatever. But, and just describing how like this is just not right. You know, like bringing a little bit of visibility of just like what the hell, you know, and how that affects, you know, not just them, but other freelancers and everything, and just that butterfly effect. But that being presented to people that hire freelancers of like, oh, you probably shouldn't be operating this way. Like maybe take a look at your guys's like contract structure and the way that you do stuff, because that's just not how the card should be played.
But let's be completely realistic.
Yeah.
Most of these companies don't give a fuck about you.
No.
Right? Like ultimately, like, and that's why I don't buy into like, I've never, even when I was corporate, I don't buy into like, it's a family. Is like, no, I have to ask you permission
Pizza
for
party.
time off. You know what I mean? Like, like, at least my parents were like, if you do your chores, you can go outside. But you're like, no, sorry, you've ran out of PTO. That's not a family.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a family. You pay me a check, and then you give me severance if you say, we're no longer, sorry, divorced. Here's your alimony. It's 2 months of salary and benefits. No, it's not a family. And freelance is even more cutthroat. Straight up. So you've got to look out for yourself every possible way you can, because you come first. You're the only person relying on you, right? Like, you can't rely on companies to be there for you. You know what I mean? You have to set yourself up.
Especially nowadays, like a couple people in here have even said too, like industry is changing constantly, especially this year. There's been a lot of spooky shit, and like how we're all trying to adapt to it, and what?
Andrew's question. Keep going. Keep going. That's for me.
Okay. Oh my God, you guys are such nerds. Yeah, anywho, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of freelancers where just experiences are different. And again, like my case is a lot more different than most freelancers because I'm not really a freelancer right now. I am on a permalancer for a whole freaking year. Like that's some security that like any freelancer would kill for, and it's just the way that company operates, and I've worked with them for a long time now. And so there was a 6-month gap last year where I was working with them for 2 years, longer than I should have been, but they just kept extending me. Had to take a cool off period for 6 months, just California law, whatever. And in that 6 months, that was me being an actual freelancer again. And man, it was like the most jarring experience because I was one day a permalancer and had a team and had meetings set every day where I saw the same set of people, had the schedule, the producer, like I just knew what every day was going to look like. And then the following Monday, I am like in no man's land and have nothing, not that I didn't have jobs lined up like I did, but it didn't start till later. And I was just like, what do I do with my time? It was so jarring. But that was like a 6-month thing, and then waiting for the next contract to start, which was already talked about beforehand. But again, that's just a freelancer experience not every freelancer has. So it's like,
yeah,
it's very hard to talk about. Anyway, you've got some questions?
I've got a question from Andrew. I would take the MKE 600 any day of the week. It's got better sound. However, your situation, you need to fly. If you're picking one, I'm going to single lob both of them. And then if we need to do like run and gun, walk and talk, all that bullshit, you've already got them lobbed. It's quicker. But if I had to choose, you would do the redundancy. You would boom it, swing boom, back and forth. Or I'd center boom it, let it pick it up. It's still going to be good. Just out of frame. And then I'd lob both, have redundancy, mix it. That's what I would probably do in that situation. Anywho, taking the nerd hat off.
I love Chris's comment of like the last 2 years for him has been Dark Souls.
That's really
as a freelancer,
funny,
that is so true.
You know what's
there is
funny,
no
though?
bonfire either to rest at. By the way,
do you want to know? That's excellent. Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you.
Do you want to know how I would? Dark Souls for me. Was being full-time. And that's how I knew, so I'm going on, August will make 3 years of this for me. And I've never been happier. Do I hate some of the work? Fuck yeah, man. It's terrible. But I was getting that same experience where I wasn't happy with the work in-house. And so would I rather not super enjoy the work I'm doing and have complete freedom over my own life, or not like the work and then still have to clock in 9 to 5,
and then
you know what I mean?
Be there for whatever they need. You have to be the yes man.
Yeah, I mean, what are we even talking about?
Yeah.
But some people cannot handle the down. They cannot handle not having work.
The ebb to the flow.
Some people have massive anxiety about it, and I think that's just not
very
healthy
natural,
long term.
but
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I'm talking about like panic. The ship is sinking every time you don't hear an email back. That's not healthy. So, but I agree that longer term contracts are the way to go. They just sometimes they just don't happen.
And I'm curious to Mr. W. Porter, with you saying like that's how I usually do things, is like 3 months is usually my minimum. Curious to know from your perspective, like how do you seek out, and do you know how to seek out those kind of clients / contracts? Because that's definitely like a more bespoke kind of, freelancer route that, you don't hear about very often, and definitely having more security is better. But curious to know if you have like a, your own kind of strategy for how you, or if it's just the contacts you have or whatever, or certain projects that just typically take that long, like a campaign or a branding project or something. But yeah.
If you're talking to me, my build's really light right now. I'm actually having fun shooting. I'm in my fucking
I'm
experimentals.
gonna say it's been a while since you've shot.
I don't shoot a lot.
Yeah.
I lost my joy. I've been in a real weird experimental phase shooting, and it's like re-sparked it. Very light though. Very light build. I bought a new lens. I have some weird ideas. And that's pretty much what
you got a anamorphic, right?
I did. I bought an
lens.
anamorphic lens, yeah.
I know probe lens is on the list.
Probe lens is on the list, and a really crazy fisheye.
Yeah.
And then I want to go to like vintage antique stores and purposely seek out like old vintage glass, and then throw an adapter on it, slap it on my FX3, and see what it looks like.
Yeah. And we've been experimenting with film a little bit, like not film video necessarily, but like with film photos, and hoping to like mess with that a little bit too, incorporation with video and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Porter, I totally agree. So if I had my choice, you know, if someone's like, I'm going to have you for 5 days, it's like, okay, man, that's so hard to book. Right? Because now you got to play this like puzzle piece game when
That's great, yeah.
when another job comes to you, right? It's like, well, shit, I took this 5-day gig.
That's great, yeah. Yeah, especially when you have experience in that, and you know the kind of pipelines that those projects come with, and you're able to just speak to that. And yeah, that's the most ideal situation for sure. Yeah, and especially with UX, I have told Justin for many years, UX UI is the one area I don't know if I wish I was necessarily better at, but I wish I was more attuned to just the nomenclature and the atmosphere of it, because it's creeping in more and more to, especially like as an art director too, of like having to oversee stuff like that. Like there's a project, that I need to like kind of oversee, make sure it like aligns with the campaign and stuff. But it's very hard for me to speak to UX UI, and that's just something I've always just like admired people to be able to do and do really well in like web design and stuff. But anywho,
do we have any other chat questions?
Yeah, we only covered one from the actual list that we have, which is pretty cool. I love that we're getting some a lot of live questions. There's a lot in here.
Yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
I'd rather answer those first. If not, we can go into the...
yeah.
We'll give it like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we'll dive into those.
Yeah, there's some good ones, though. Yeah. Can I also just say I cannot believe it's July. Mid-July, nonetheless.
We have a baby in 9 weeks.
What the hell? Yeah, 9 weeks, man. As of today, September 13th. Mark your calendars. We'll see. I don't think she's going to be here the 13th. I'm estimating the 15th. He thinks it's going to be a little earlier.
I do.
We'll see. We're placing our bets now.
Yeah.
I know a few UX UI people who are insane, so good. They do all the design for live web campaigns. Yeah, man. Yep. It's crazy. And I've just been getting more into Figma lately, because I've been trying to get both of us kind of like on board with using it for multiple things. But even within Riot and just like the art and design team that I've been on, we've used Figma almost solely for like project compiling in terms of like housing assets, showing whips and like exploration and stuff, and having just kind of like a sketching page and mood boards and whatever, and then having like a final like brand kind of like guide and whatever in there, but like I've never once touched it or used it for UX UI related stuff. But then once they came out with like the Figma slides stuff to be able to make presentations, oh my god, I love it so much more than Google Slides. It's crazy. Google Slides is so freaking jank. I don't know how they're still doing it the way they do, but man, Figma Slides has been really nice. And then tampering around with FigJam a little bit for collaboration stuff has been pretty cool, like whiteboard sessions. But Yeah, I'd like to know just base level, like UX UI related stuff, I think, with Figma, but like I never see myself web designing or, you know, doing a whole journey map or anything for like an app or anything. But anywho. Oh shit, we got questions. What's the first one? I can't see from here.
What kind of jobs do you find yourself getting versus what jobs would you prefer to get? The industry's changing fast.
For me, I it's hard for me to answer without being a little biased because again, three-ish out of 5 of my years of freelancing, where like I'll be freelancing for 5 years next February, but 3-ish of those years will have been strictly with Riot Games, and doing very specific work within branding and identity work, and now art directing. The kind of jobs that I find myself getting, so I'll just say from when I'm an actual freelancer, one of the bigger ones that I've had is a very brand centric project with Summoner. That was a very like brand heavy one, and like developing an illustration style and developing just the rules and the guide for everything to then hand off to, ironically enough, Riot Games. I've worked on both sides of the coin with them at this point. And then I've done ones direct to client, where I got to design and animate an actual like part of a commercial, which is crazy, which I can't talk about. It was for Purple. The creative director, which was the only person I worked with, by the way, which is really crazy. I ended up sending whips to him through text message because he was at a freaking Drake concert. That was bizarre, but he was like the chillest guy I've ever met, and especially as a client, he was very much just like trusting of like, yeah, this looks great, like whatever you think, and asked him questions, but like our communication was just very like open. There weren't any other cooks in the kitchen, which was kind of nice. He consolidated feedback to me from like their art director and stuff, but like I never even talked to an art director, which is kind of crazy. But like that was one of the first, not the first times probably, but like one of the key times I've worked with like direct to client, and it was a very, very good experience. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of the jobs that I've been getting, but I would say like more often than not, it's like branding and identity oriented, which I never really thought I would do in college, which is kind of funny, but I always wanted to do stuff for entertainment. That was just kind of like the end goal, but I've been doing a lot more of that. Phoenix Suns, you know, that motion design heavy project, that was awesome. But a lot of projects have come into my lap just as a referral from a friend, you know, that either couldn't take it on, or they didn't have like the skill set, or like didn't want to do it or whatever. So yeah, some of those were just really cool. But what about you? What kind of projects that you get more often than not?
It's funny. I don't know if from my perspective, people talk about it all the time, but I'm not sure I've seen the industry change as much as some other people. Also, see Andrew, thanks for stopping by, dude. Much love, man. It's more social heavy, right? Like when I first started my career, it was very, very broadcast. It was like broadcast spec. Everything was broadcast commercial work. Then it was like broadcast and docu-series stuff. And then it's slowly become like 50-50 broadcast versus social. The type of work varies for me. I never became like a specialist in an industry. So I've cut everything. I genuinely can say I feel like I've cut everything you could possibly think of from any industry, which is cool. But over the last 9 months, I think I've cut some of the coolest stuff I've ever cut in my career, from gaming, multiple gaming gigs, little bit of gaming / TV stuff. I can't talk about any of this shit. It's so annoying. Can't talk about it. I'm afraid to get in trouble.
So emo. Don't want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it. I want to put it on my site and on LinkedIn and stuff. But and then I can talk about stuff. So I did some stuff for Hasbro and Magic the Gathering. That was really neat. I've been working a lot with NVIDIA. A lot. They're a great client. And then I've got a couple of agencies that I work with all the time and have since the beginning of my career. And I'm working on stuff from Buffalo Wild Wings to Journeys to Zelle and IHOP and bunch of other cool stuff. So to me, I would love to be able to land some gigs that are a little more long form. Honestly, I don't really care if I'm cutting commercial work or social. I'd rather cut more like brand heavy docu stuff. That's my wheelhouse. I really like it. But anything related to the outdoor industry, so think North Face, Columbia, REI, Patagonia, Cotopaxi, anything like that. And then entertainment gaming like Audrey. Those are kind of my wheelhouses where I like to kind of, I feel like I'm in the pocket when I'm working on that kind of stuff. But I don't have any cues, but I graduated 2 years ago working at an agency and testing the waters of freelance. Had a lot of fun projects from that. That's awesome, Andrew. Where do you work? What part of the country are you in?
While he answers that, I think Porter said a lot of creative roles that was sought after 3 years ago are going away and new types of requests are more common. Also, do you use Rive? Yes, I have seen this as well. Yeah, new types of like roles and like skill sets are requested more, I've noticed as well, especially within motion design. I don't use Rive often. Justin knows. Listen, I did a whole series with Rive, sponsored by Rive, actually, early last year. And it was a fun learning experience from like the learning standpoint.
When it was brand new.
When it was brand spanking new. Like they were still, a lot of the things and features that are part of Rive now did not exist when they introduced Rive, a year and some change ago. And this is when they were trying to get motion designers, UX, UI developers even to get into Rive, and they were reaching out to content creators. I guess I'm counted as one of them. I hate saying that. I just hate saying content creator because I don't like, it's icky to me. But I technically am one because I make YouTube videos. But because I do a lot of design and motion related stuff for YouTube, they reached out to me and asked if I were to do like a project, like make up a project and then just do like a video or a series on it. So I tried to think through strategically. This is really before I really got into Rive for the project. And I think I was just way out of my element. I think I just gave myself like an overscoped project and not enough time. And I think my brain was just not like, at the time especially, attuned to using Rive the way people would actually like use Rive. And I think it just like overcomplicated things. And if I were to go back into Rive again, I would do a lot of things differently. But that video series that I have on YouTube is the first time I actually like used Rive. So there was just a lot of learning curves. And for me to have to sit there and record myself messing up so much and not understanding why something didn't work and understanding what all of these features and buttons did and everything. It was, again, that's like kind of part of like the developer UX UI side of things that like I am just not very, my brain's just not quite wired to be as like on top of it as I wish it was. So I would probably revisit Rive in the future, especially just when it comes to like wanting to redo my website at some point. And try to like spruce that up with some like custom animations and stuff. I will definitely look at Rive again, especially with all the stuff they've added since. But I do not currently use Rive by any means. But all that to say, with like just tools in general, I'd like to be more like attuned to stuff that's being out there more. But yeah, that's all I got.
Love it.
With that question.
Any more chat questions? I think we give it like 1 more minute of chat questions because we've got a handful I would like to do.
I'm just now seeing what Porter has talked about. But yeah, interactive emotion is heavily emerging. 100%. Definitely. I feel like it's like weird to not have things with some sort of element of motion nowadays. I feel like that's just kind of a standard. And when thinking especially about interactivity and like the user experience and everything, increases in that engagement and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but
Yeah. One question I did want to talk about, because I feel like I've talked to you a lot about this being a future.
In Columbus.
Oh, shit. Do we know you, Andrew? Like, I know you're Andrew G here, but I feel like I'm blanking. I feel like Columbus is such a, like, tight-knit community with, like, creatives and stuff. I feel like I'd be amiss if we didn't know your name in the atmosphere.
Been a few years, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Said fresh out of school, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Haven't been there in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I graduated December of 2018. Class of 2019.
I'm not going to tell you when I graduated.
But a question on here is, what's your typical day as a freelance designer? So this is towards me, but we can both answer it. It's funny because, I can't remember who asked this question on Instagram. But I want to make a video of this. I've wanted to make a video about this for so long because it's really going to be more of a comedic take on the classic, like, day in the life, like, not necessarily vloggy videos, but kinda of just like, I get up at 6:30 a.m. I journal, I meditate, I make my matcha latte in my own kitchen, and then I answer all my emails before noon and do design work until whatever. And that might be like a day in the life, sure, but like a lot of them are phrased in the way of like, this is like my routine as a freelancer, but I'm like, there is no routine as a freelancer. Like every day is so different. I think that's what I love the most about it too, of like, you kind of like create your own structure with like how your schedule is and how you want to like do things, but like you have, and it's also kind of the intimidating part of like, you have so much control over the time that you have to be very diligent with it. When you have it.
You have the time.
When you have the time.
Because you have to remember, you end up selling your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all we do.
Yeah,
We're just selling our time.
Yeah.
Right?
Typical day, though, I mean, I'll just, again, speaking from the Riot contractor for a whole year experience, I, especially being pregnant, I do not get up early really anymore. I've been getting up around like 9:30, 10, and I start my day at 11 because it's 10 a.m. on the West Coast in LA, their time, and they have 10 to 6 hours. And so I work 11 to 7.
Yes.
Which is kind of nice. The 7 p.m. part, not so much, but like I don't really notice it anymore. I used to, but my day is pretty much laid out with like whatever meetings I've accepted and show up virtually, and just hang out with Justin in our office. That's kind of my day to day. Sit outside with Rocky for a little bit every now and then.
Yep.
Throw the ball.
Yep.
Try to find something to eat because we're terrible about eating lunch and breakfast and stuff, and honestly dinner too. But yeah, what about your day in the life, Justin?
It's different every day. It's so different every day. Especially not having like a dedicated long-term. Did you read that? Yeah, it's different every single day, big time. So like some days I might have a down day and I'm dedicated to like, honestly, it's stuff like filling out Audrey and I both have like a finance sheet where we're keeping track of our invoices and what's out, what needs to be submitted, right? Who's paid, who's late, what's paid on time. Some days it might be I've got 7 meetings because why wouldn't I? Some days I get an 8-hour day to just grind it out and work. Then there's some days I work 18 hours, right? And I sleep for 2 or 3 hours and I wake up and I work another 16.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about freelance is you don't really get to determine a lot of that. Like you think you have all of this freedom and you do You do from a couple of standpoints. But once you get booked, depending on the kind of booking you end up signing up for, you lose that freedom. It's gone. So yeah, you can take off 2 weeks in the middle of May for no other reason than you want the time off.
But that comes at a cost too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you can turn down that job. Or
Yeah.
you can take 2 or 3 at the same time.
Yep.
Sure. But at what cost do all of those things actually mean to you?
Usually
right?
sleep
And then-
or
right.
peace of mind.
And then when you're booked, you're theirs for that amount of time. And if you don't have stuff written in stone or you sign up, which I do, I knew ahead of time some of these jobs where they're like, dude, you're going to be working all weekend, and we're not joking when we say all weekend. We don't mean like all weekend,
man.
like Saturday and Sunday 9 to 5. We mean all weekend, like you might not sleep.
That was a wild time.
And I've done that twice. And so it's, it's one of those things. My day is never the same, ever. I can never say that I've had a repeated 2 days where, like, corporate, I repeated the same day
oh my God.
60 days straight, right?
The
Like,
monotony of like working in-house, especially with like corporate, is just like,
Yeah.
it sucked the life out of me. And again, like it's everything is for some people and it's not for other people. But I think that's what I like the most of just like the freedom of like saying yes or no to things, where like when you're working
Yeah.
in corporate environments or just in-house, like you have to say yes to everything because that's your job. That's literally like what you're being paid to do.
Yeah.
And you get
And
paid
you-
in other ways, like,
and
PTO
like,
and stuff.
You
but
know that Monday you've got the same 3 stand-up meetings.
oh
and
my God.
Tuesday you might have only like 1 meeting, but Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's your big meeting day, and you've got literally 6 hours of back-to-backs. And then Thursday is like always going to throw you a little wrench in the cog of like, hey, by the way, we have Friday deliverables all of a sudden. We need them done by tomorrow.
I remember when you were working corporate, you had more hours in meetings than you did actual
on
work
average,
time.
my weeks
Horrible.
had say 23 to 25 hours of meetings.
That's
in a
when you know
40-hour
something's
work
gone
week.
wrong. Like,
And it's like, then you can't
Insane.
set these deadlines and
Right.
expectations for us in these really tight turnarounds and then blame us when things aren't done on time.
Yeah.
It's like you've put me in.
yeah.
Most of my job is sitting on Zoom.
in meetings that you don't need to be in. And again, the classic, like, this could have been an email kind of thing, or just not involved a lot of people in the first place and let a producer just relay information or something.
Yep.
It's crazy.
See you, Finn. Thanks for stopping
Bye,
by.
Finn. He's been gone, but yeah, just addressing that. He said goodbye is nice.
What else we got?
Also, Andrew, love that you went to CCAD. I just read that. Crazy that my student work is still on campus. It's still bizarre to me. Yeah, I graduated fall, a semester early, so fall of 2018, but that's just crazy that my stuff is still kind of like lingering as like a spirit or something on campus is a thing. Super appreciate that though. I loved my time at CCAD. I will just say, like, there's a lot of different perspectives and experiences that come with this, especially going to art school, let alone just college in general. But for me to do art school in 3.5 years, and I just had the best time. I feel like I utilized my time there really well with like the friends that I made and stuff, but I worked my ass off. But it was super fun. I think that's what the most rewarding part was like knowing that like I was in the right place, because I think when you're in school and you're doing projects where you're just like, oh my God, like, why am I doing this? I would love to do anything else. Probably not a good sign, but
No.
I loved every minute of it. Yeah, just super, super good time. The staple question for creatives, what are some of your strategies for handling burnout? Ooh. Burnout.
Did you see me drink that whiskey?
Strategies, that's funny.
I'll try to
Yeah, I've moved from a small agency to corporate graphic design. I have so many more meetings. It's
awful.
crazy.
It's
It's
so
like, why are
brutal.
you throwing graphic designers in all these meetings?
Yeah.
Like, I get that there's a level of like information that you should know from a certain level, but like if there is an art director or someone like a more managerial position, they should just relay like, hey, here's what's going on. You know, I just, oh God, all the meetings, I just feel like It can be a lot.
So
Anyhow,
burnout.
yeah, burnout.
I
I feel
I'll
like
give like small 2 cents on this because I feel like that is my default setting, right? I feel like I've been burnt out for like 8 years.
3 of which have been freelance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can start you back from the beginning. So, like, I wanted to go into film production, right? Like, I thought I was going to be a DP and maybe a director one day. I was going to move to LA and make movies. That's like every kid with a camera and cinephile when they're a little kid and they're watching Kurosawa films at 12. You know what I mean? They're watching Japanese subtitled movies when they're a little kid. That's what they think they're going to do. And then you get into school and you do internships. And I grew up in West Virginia, so the film industry was not small. It was non-existent. And so whenever I got into college, I realized that commercial production was actually a thing. And I kind of attached onto that. And I didn't really care that we weren't making movies. I just wanted to see people make stuff. How did a camera work? What did a crew look like? You know, what did a PA actually do? And so the burnout for me started when this became about money. And so when I got into like corporate making commercials and stuff and it didn't feel like there was passion behind it, the entire point was the bottom dollar for a client and how much money they made, that created burnout. And that's never went away for me. I still feel like we're in kind of an icky industry in so many ways. And for me, it got to the point to where I couldn't even create passion projects anymore because it started blurring the lines between what I did for a living and passion projects, right? Like I didn't want to shoot stuff anymore because I just got done with a weekend of 12-hour shoot days doing some corporate BS thing I didn't like. And so for me, it took a huge step back. It took maybe a year of not doing anything personally so I could just keep up the motivation to be an artist professionally. And then it was finding like a creative way to kind of challenge myself on a day-to-day when I was making stuff. And recently that fire has really been lit because I've found new mediums. And whether that's your digital your whole life and then you end up shooting film photography and learning the ins and outs to film and that kind of stuff, I think that's a cool way. For me, it's like, how do I make weird shit now, personally? Because buttoned up, clean images and really cool edits, that's what I like. I can do that stuff and have done that for 10 years of professional work. So I think for me, burnout is sometimes just taking a big step back. And if that means even taking a step back professionally, if you can, financially, I think it's a good idea. Finding other things to fill that creative void with, right? Find something new. And then you'll come back to it. Like if it's a real passion, you'll very obviously come back to that thing every time. So burnout's real. I think everyone has burnout. So it's definitely not a unimportant thing to talk about in our industry because I think everyone gets it. I think some people even leave this industry because of it. So make sure you're taking care of yourself first, because I think everyone got into this industry from a passion standpoint before they moved into it professionally, right? So just kind of reminding yourself of that. I can't see her questions from here. Need to drop. Great topics. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for dropping in. Super cool to hear from you all. Really cool. It's funny, Audrey and I talked about this a lot because we get a lot of questions on like LinkedIn, Instagram, that kind of stuff. So it's cool to actually be on here, chatting with other creatives and stuff. While Audrey is doing that, does anyone have any other questions in chat? Because I actually can't see from here her question list. If not, that's cool. We can wait on her to get back. But I have a feeling we're wrapping in the next like 15 minutes or so. But if anyone's got questions, I'm sure most of you are from like a motion design background, so. I could read that. So she's got the other monitor set up. Oh, there she is. I can't read the Q&A answers from here because the light is like directly in my eyeball. But we've got some people dropping. So I think we kind of like semi-rapid fire these last couple. Cool. Do I edit Audrey's YouTube videos?
I wish.
No, I do not.
I edit my own. No, it's true. I can't afford him. He does give me notes when I ask for him to look over my videos, but... Yeah, I've learned a little bit of editing here and there just from doing my own videos because I kind of have to. Let's see. Best way to get hired by studios that don't know you or your work. I think a overall word here is visibility in terms of reminding people that A, you exist, and just showing your work. Finished or not, honestly. I think process stuff is really nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think this is where I will always go back to, because this is how do you get work? That's essentially what you're asking, right? To me, that's where your early internships, connections you make in school, connections you make while shadowing, getting on sets, or if you're a designer, getting into studios or branded agencies or whatever. Even if it's you don't always have to be an intern. Sometimes it just has to be like a day-long shadow. And you make that connect and you show interest because you are, right? Like genuinely interested and genuinely just an interested person, not someone trying to gain something from these people. I think that's a huge thing. And I think a lot of people don't give the general public enough credit of like they can see through bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I know you just want something from me. Like be genuine when you go to make a connection. Do not just be like, hi, so great to meet you. What's your daughter's name anyways? Hire me. It's like, that doesn't work.
Or they do some creepy level digging to find something like personable to be like, I love that, well, like looks like you went on vacation to Curacao recently. I saw those
photos of you and your kids and
looks like you had a great time. Hope you feel refreshed.
How's Andrea doing? She's what, 14 now? I would send you a birthday gift, but I think you've moved since I last found your address.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. Let's reel that one back,
I love
psycho.
That. That's so funny.
But I think for me, it's like you have to build a genuine network of people that you, first of all, get along with and fit your genuine, not your creative, not your fake online persona, your personality, right? Whether that's your belief system or creative process, or you just like hanging out with these people. The vibe.
Vibe check.
Right? It's a vibe check thing. Those are the people you need to genuinely reach out to, ask questions, genuine questions to try to become more educated, and then keep that connection alive. And I'm not saying doing that by hitting them up
and
every 3 weeks
them,
about, hey, you're free. Do they have any work? Because that becomes kind of annoying. I know that that's what it seems like everyone is telling you to do, is be insistent on, like, I'm free, I'm available.
That's what those freaking newsletters and stuff tell you to do, and like the whole, here's what cold emails you should be sending.
But I'm gonna give you an example. You build your network in a way of this example. I would say 80% of my work has come from relationships I made 3+ years ago. Okay? For example, a really great one is, say you worked corporate with 500 people and you became really tight with 15 people that are creative, and no one stays at corporate forever. So what do?
They go somewhere else.
Right? And when you go freelance, maybe those people will bring you into that new company.
Yep.
And then what happens in 2 years when they leave that company and they go to another company?
You've got a new client.
Now you've got 2 new clients.
Because you are their person.
Because hopefully you have established a relationship at the first place they worked, right? And now you're establishing a relationship with other people, not just your connect, at the new place they work.
It's a great point where like the traveling connections aspect of things is not talked about enough, because that truly is like it's such an exponential factor of like when one person that you're tight with that gets you work goes somewhere else,
And
like
they'll
you
fight
would
for
now
you.
have another client, you now have another studio or whatever.
They will fight
and
for
work.
you.
Yeah, and they will fight for you.
Because they know you. Mm-hmm. Right? And the big thing, especially if you're tight with producers or project managers, they don't want to fuck up.
Yeah.
And if they've worked with you 100 times and they know you're good, they're not going to go for something that's not a safe bet, and you need to be a safe bet.
Yeah.
Right? I know this guy. He's great. I've worked with him a million times. I promise you he's going to knock this shit out of the park.
Yep.
I know that's what some of my producer friends...
They take their A-team with them.
They do. I know that's what my producer friends tell the larger agency, and that gets me hired.
Yep.
And then you do kick ass on that job, and then guess what? That is now your client.
Yeah.
It's no longer through your producer. That whole client, the creative directors, the designers, art directors, the project managers, producers, brand managers, they all saw you be a badass for 6 weeks or whatever with them. They're going to call you again, I promise you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So the biggest thing is building that network of genuine connections. I'm not talking about LinkedIn connections where you talk with the person every 6 months.
Or when you look for the
BS.
job title and you just like spam connect with people when you don't actually know them or what they do. That happens a lot.
Yeah, so to me, that's probably the biggest.
No, I agree with that answer more than mine. I think my perspective was like, if you didn't have a connect into, certain studios that you're wanting to work with and whatnot, like obviously there's a strategy of like
Slipping in a little bit,
but like in a very intentional and curated way of like,
But
hey, here's
genuine.
But
and that's
genuine
that's
is
the
like,
biggest word for it is like,
yeah.
You can do that. I've done that a million times. I have an agency. I'm like, God, I love their work. I'd love to work with them. I'll find a producer or creative director and be like, dude, and I will word it like this. I'm not going to be like, hello,
being
sir.
candid. Yeah.
How are you on this?
Just talk like a
brilliant
human being.
It's like no one's going to talk like that.
Don't fall for the email or the message formats and
I'll
like
say,
inserting
hey, Chris,
the.
Man, I absolutely love the work you guys are doing at so and so studio. Really love this piece. I would love to talk about process because that shit like genuinely blew my mind. If you ever have time to chat, I'd love to pick your brain for 15 minutes. And that's all you got to say. And probably an 80% success clip, right?
Yeah. On the topic of doing weird creative stuff, you guys might like the channel Super Ordinary. It's quite new. Creators. That's really cool.
Sweet.
Never heard of that. I will definitely be looking that up.
Check it out.
That's really neat. I like that.
Where we go?
Favorite obscure app or plugin in your creative process? I'll be honest, I don't even know. Like, cause like even outside of obscure apps or plugins, I really don't use like plugins a lot at all. Like I think for more than anything with like After Effects and Illustrator, anything that Battle Axe makes is like I'm fully on board. I use Overlord every time I do any bit of motion design, because if I'm illustrating in Illustrator or whatever, bringing that shit into After Effects is like the best thing ever. And they have other stuff too, but just for like efficiency purposes, I think the ones that get really goofy are just like, I don't know, making random graphics and again, I think there's a lot of plugins that are more for like a bespoke project that needs like a certain effect or something. But for me, it's more of an efficiency thing, just because I spend more time designing and then actually animating, as you should, rather than trying to like compile files and all that stuff. But yeah, anything that Battle Axe makes, 100% on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anything obscure for me, really, just efficiency stuff.
Yeah, same. I mean, I use stuff that makes my life a little bit easier, but I'm not a big like transition plugin, effects plugin guy and editor, because 99% of the work I get doesn't really call for it, and if they do, I just know how to make it from scratch.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm faster at doing that than like troubleshooting what if the plugin doesn't work, right? Obscure, really cool, maybe not so obscure anymore, pretty popular thing that's not an app or a plugin, but for inspiration, eye candy.
Oh my god, iCandy is so cool. He introduced that to me, and
Years
it's just
ago.
like, it's the coolest shit I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
I found iCandy when they had like 800 followers
Yeah.
on Instagram.
It's just iCandy.com, right?
No, it's
No?
not. No.
Try to
I
send
think
it.
there's
I'll
multiple Y's.
try to put a link in the old chatteroony here. iCandy.
It's, yeah, there's a bunch of N's.
Ends?
Yeah, so it's EYECANNNDY.
Okay, alright. I'm sure iCandy was probably taken from a domain standpoint.
But really cool spot. They've got categories when you first land on the site and this is, for the most part, this is video.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of techniques on edit, shoot style, transitional elements, framing devices, shot selection, creative shot selection,
Art direction stuff.
art direction
oh my
stuff.
Gosh.
There's an animation tab, but yeah, it's pretty sick.
Even just the way that iCandy is like categorized is super
great.
impressive to me. Like I don't see
It's great.
that with anything else, especially like even just design related. I feel
Yeah.
like unless you know someone who knows about
It's
it.
a creative director at Wyden and Kennedy made it.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Oh yeah, GIF Gun. I forgot about GIF Gun. Yeah, I have that plugin. I think maybe on an old laptop, and I need to like make sure that I have it on my new one. Because yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it's essentially like optimizing like a GIF like right out of After Effects, which is exactly the kind of struggle bus that we've been having with like even just the thing for this live stream that I made was just a little illustration from Procreate, some stuff I did in After Effects, but like trying to make it an optimized GIF or just like for social or just trying to get it as like a decent MP4 for Instagram was just like such a headache. But
you know
yeah,
what
I
we
think
should do
GIF Gun
one
was
day
good.
is have people, if they're brave enough and want to, drop their sites.
Yeah, no, that is an idea for a future live stream I'd love to do.
Like check out people's work and talk through like if we
get
think
like a
the site,
Google form going of like people that want to volunteer their portfolio or whatever, and whatever they want to talk about, or if they want it critiqued or a certain project or something. Talk through that.
Cool.
That would be cool. Some live feedback.
Anything else?
I really don't think so. 2.5 hours of a stream is pretty good. I feel like we talked so much and about a lot of different things and more questions from the chat than the social stuff. Which
if there are more questions, which this right here. Have you guys done anything with mixed media animation? I've been quite interested in the topic lately. Yeah, love it.
I feel like I did the most mixed media animation when I was in college because it was kind of part of a class that I took, which was I couldn't tell you, but it was essentially every project was like a different medium. Like I did a Post-it note animation, which I would argue, not to brag, was probably the best in the class. It was super smooth. It was like a super smooth Post-it note animation. But that along with like a collage kind of thing, and then there was a stop motion bit somewhere else in the line of things. Taking stills like of yourself to like, you know, do that kind of thing. I remembered I think my favorite one, I'll have to dig that up at some point, maybe do a video on like old projects from college, was I literally printed out or took a video of myself as like maybe like a 10-second clip of me doing something, and then I rotoscoped or drew over myself like every single frame, but I got a whole box of crayons and markers, and I just like, similar to what we see in like a lot of music videos nowadays, I feel like that technique is used a lot and it's super cool. Yeah. That was probably my favorite project. I had like at least 100 something, I don't know how many frames or what the FPS was, but that was super fun. Yeah. All that to say, definitely do mixed media. I've actually been wanting to do more stuff with like painting and like scanning textures and scanning like painting related stuff to make animations from. I feel like that's coming back more of like more tangible
using
kind of
actual
stuff.
mixed media. It's not just like mixed media in the sense of like you're taking what looks like paper textures and stuff, like you're actually taking tangible things and doing it. We can definitely do more of these. I think something else that would be fun is doing like project breakdowns. Yeah. Like off our sites.
Yeah, 100%. Well, even Hezik, I don't know if that's how you pronounce. Looking for project or job. Can you guys tell me how I can improve my portfolio? I mean, hey, that's exactly answering the whole idea of like, do we do a stream where we just go over portfolios and stuff? But obviously, if you want us to look at that, you know, offline and not in literal public on the internet, we can do that.
Yeah, you can drop your. I mean, if you want to do it, you can drop your portfolio in here, or you can hit Audrey and I up.
Yeah, my email is somewhere. I've got contact stuff on my YouTube page,
but we're happy to look at
and
it.
whatever.
Yeah, I think because, you know, Pedro's talking about like seeing that project. It'd be cool to kind of walk through some of our old work. Process.
Well, I think I
mean, Vandal would be.
Yeah, Vandal is a whole other case study, man. Like we did so many different things. Hey, sick. Okay, Behance. I'll take note of that. It's not a link. I'll have to look them up on Behance. One thing I will say too, not to self plug or anything, but I think it was my 3 years of freelancing like recap video. It was like an hour long. It was that really long one, and I talked about a bunch of projects that I worked on and kind of broke down each of those projects, and they were all very different. That could be a video. I don't know if that's interesting or not, but it went through some Riot Games stuff, Phoenix Suns animation stuff, a frame by frame animation that I worked on for a studio. And then there's probably some other ones. But yeah, I think that as a live stream would be really cool. And if we can just gather up all of the like archival stuff too, like I know that there's so much that's like
for Vandal.
Oh, for Vandal, there's like a whole binder of just like papers and sketches and stuff, let alone like everything else. But even just like other projects, you know, like cleaning up our files a little bit and whatever, and walking through stuff.
The only problem with like the files and stuff, I'd have to see if I'd be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, not with, like if stuff's super like, NDA'd and whatever.
I could show,
for me, it's
I could
easier.
talk process about projects, but I don't know if I could show.
For me, it's easier for sure. I'm able to see this chat after the fact too, so I'll make sure to save that. But yeah, no, all really good points. Yeah, we don't live stream. This is the second one that we've done together ever. And we are in a completely new house because we moved this year. What?
Just a new house, right? Was the other one at Anderson?
Yeah.
Or was the other one at Monroe? Or in Phoenix, I mean.
No, we never did one in Phoenix.
Are you sure?
It was the last place, 100%.
We did one last year?
Yeah. It's the only time we could have done it.
Phoenix.
No, we weren't live streaming then.
I'm going to go back and look.
Okay,
I'm not
that's
sure.
fine. All right.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Anderson.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I love live streaming. I think it feels more natural doing it. This is like the second time we've really like done it, like an actual one. But I think in the future doing these a little more curated with like, going over projects or a process of one of our projects, stuff like that. I hope will be super helpful.
Yeah.
But
we're also, to be fair though.
Yeah, no, and we're about to have a child, by the way, if you didn't know. She's due September 13th. And we're going to
be able to sneak one more in before, but after is going to be like
Yeah, I just mean more like in the general future, like
in the next 5 years, I'm sure we'll do one
we'll do one once a year. No, I'd like to do these.
If you're
we
not
probably
in
can.
Insane shape, but then it's like probably nothing.
Should be fine
through the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like whenever we will get to do these are just really fun to do, and super appreciate the people that stick around for so long of this and ask questions and are super engaged. This is a lot of chat activity too, which I was not expecting, and I super appreciate it. People just being like also kind of contributing to the conversation of like their experience and stuff too. So more of that, the better, especially just with how freelancing is going for everyone individually nowadays, and trying to break into the industry or just trying to get work or, make themselves known. So, all that to say, thank you guys so much. Do you have any last final thoughts?
No. I'm pretty tired. This is exhausting.
I thought we were gonna be going longer, honestly.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours is
I
good.
don't talk this much ever because I'm a edit goblin. So like
In
this
his
is
dark-
more light than I typically
In his
get
dark
in a
little
day.
cave.
This light that Audrey threw up. So
Yeah. Oh my God! Speaking of which, can you tell the story real quick for the people that have stuck around this long, and for whatever people watching
Can you see if
this
there's anyone's stories in
stream?
here before I tell the story?
But I think it's a funny Easter egg, honestly. If people, yeah, there's
All right,
we
7.
got some more people.
Okay.
There was 5 at one point.
Okay.
Hilarious story, at least in my eyes. For those
All right, long
still
story
watching.
short.
Yeah.
I do kind of act as Audrey's IT guy. Okay,
You are.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, the stream currently, the stream that, or the YouTube videos, all she does, right, is using my camera, a cam link I gave her, like, she has the exact same microphone set up that I have, like, all of this stuff, right?
Literally using his camera.
Using all my shit. And we've got it set up pretty good. And Audrey bought an Elgato key light. Audrey has been having a monitor issue. She's got dual monitors right in front of us, right? One of her monitors will not work. Hasn't for months. We gave up on it. I couldn't even get it to work. I was like, I don't know. You know, just don't know. That's important. It sounds random, but that's important.
It's a key detail.
So the key light, Audrey's like, can we set up a test stream today? I was like, absolutely. I can get all the gear set up in under 30 minutes. And I do. She was talking to her dad on the phone today. So I get all the stuff set up while she's talking to her dad. I get it all set up in 10 minutes, do a sound check, do all that stuff. I'm like, it's good enough, right? Like, I'm not trying to, like, do crazy, a key light with a fill and a, you know, I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. And I go to turn her key light on. Liz, what is
Hey,
up?
Liz, what up?
What
Oh my
is
God,
up?
good timing.
I go to turn her key light on, and it will not start up. And key lights are really finicky because they don't, Elgato does not let them plug directly into your computer, your PC, your laptop, whatever. It's through your Wi-Fi connection, so it can talk on the same network that your device is on, right? So I reset our router. I'm resetting her her PC. I'm resetting our router settings, trying to get this thing to work.
He hardwired me in too.
I'm hardwiring her in. I'm doing all of this stuff, right? I can't get it to work, and it's very rare for me to not be able to get something technical to work after like 15, 20 minutes. So I give up, and I told her I'm going to throw one of my lights up. But then I can't handle that. I'm not very good at letting things go. So I'm over there clicking the on and off button, and as I'm doing it, I look down and I see the box that is part of the
wire,
the
like
wire
the
for
power,
the power box,
yeah.
right? And I look down and I'm staring at it, and I realize on the back of it, it says Philips. And so I turned to Audrey and I go, Audrey, this, I think this is exactly how I said it. I said, this thing says fucking Philips on it. It cannot be the power cable. How do you mix that up? I said, I bet your fucking monitor is using the Elgato key light cable, and that's why it won't power your monitor on, because the voltage on it is wrong, and that's why these two things aren't working. So needless to say, long story short,
I love the long version.
Her monitor now works, and the key light is on, because I'm just not thinking about that kind of stuff.
Dude.
Because I don't do that, right? Like, I don't mess up which power cables power which devices because I don't know the names are written on them. You know what I mean? You look down and you go, okay, this is a Philips
and
power.
What's funny too is I took so much pride in setting my stuff up when we first moved in here, but I didn't finish all of it.
All in. I bet I spent an hour trying to get that light
You really
on.
did.
I was in.
And that was literally the only problem. I just used the wrong cord.
I was in our router and modems app, and I was changing the frequency of our internet service because I had read somewhere deep on Reddit that you can't use the key light at certain frequencies.
But you have to go too deep into the forums.
Which is
That's
crazy.
When you know
I'm
gone too far.
I'm literally tuning frequencies in here, and it was she plugged the wrong cables into the wrong outlets into the wrong. I
sure did.
Monitor.
I blame that on the pregnancy brain fog, because I have not been fully 100% up here since being pregnant.
You know what I love though?
Because I have set up my own stuff in the last place. To be fair,
do you know what I love, everyone?
Everything has worked.
When Audrey set all this stuff up last year, She wasn't pregnant.
Yeah, and I did it right.
No, you didn't.
I kind of did.
It was
them.
wrong.
No.
Yes.
In Anderson?
Here! We've lived here over...
I know. I'm saying the last time I had to set this up was in our last place, and I did it right. But this time, I was pregnant, and I did it wrong. So... But now my monitor works, which I thought my monitor was broken. But it works.
It works.
So-
Everything works because guess what? The correct labeled cables are hooked up to the correct
Yeah.
pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
So that's one less angry email I was going to send to
Two.
Elgato, so
And
that's
Phillips,
good.
you're like, why is one of the monitors working?
It's my favorite thing of this weekend, and especially with literally an hour before starting the stream, where who knows what would have happened. We would have been sitting in the dark or being roasted by your light setup, because those are very,
They
very
are
hot.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a fan of right now. So all that to say, that was that's the end story time. Probably one of my favorite stories ever now, because I done goofed up, but Justin saved the day as per usual. So thank you, Justin, for being able to let us stream today and answer all these lovely people's questions and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah.
That was really fun.
Anyway.
That was a long time. It was a long time.
Anyway, we'll stop rambling, but thank you guys so much for watching. That's like my end tag in all my videos. But yeah, for contributing to the conversation, and we'll definitely try to do one of these in the future, but probably a bit more around like a specific project, either from our side or get
Portfolio
get
reviews or
other
something.
people's portfolios in like a Google form or something to go over if they're feeling brave enough. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Throw up the peace sign. That's the end thing.